Good afternoon. I am by myself. I do not know why. But hello to everybody that has popped in or will pop in or wants to pop in. uh, I do not know where the crew is. They have abandoned me. I have no idea. But at least we have the chat, right? And I will pop that link in there in case anybody wants to come on the panel and be like, hey, what's up? Because I got nothing. Hi, Kristen. How are you? It's just us, honey. We're it. I don't know where everybody else is. That awkward silence when it's just you and you have nothing to talk about. Well, I do have something to talk about, but it's a little difficult without people to talk about it with. So tired. I took a nap before my live because I am notorious for sleeping through when I'm supposed to start. And ooh, the DMV. Those are bad 3 letters. But we all know my sleep schedule is shit anyway, so. Plates, yep. Yeah, I don't have a car anymore. I'm still bitter. I don't want to talk about it. I'm actually in kind of a neutral mood, I guess. I don't know, it's still flatlined for the bullshit, but I know she has the link and I know she saw it. I just don't know where she is. I messaged her. She didn't answer me. Hopefully Tina is okay. Yeah, I sent it to a few people in Messenger. Like, well, Willow hasn't seen hers yet. Tina saw hers, Tim saw his, and Wendy saw hers, so there is no excuse, people. Yeah, he does it all the time, Kristen. Seems to be a pretty much a monthly occurrence that he explodes like that and says hurtful things. Right? Get your asses here. But we shall persevere. We keep going. My dog is acting like she hasn't gone out, and that's weird because I thought she had already gone out. Ow! Cat! Damn, sneak attack. Get off me. Don't shoot. Cat didn't do anything to me. I actually just impaled myself on her claw. Yeah, Kristen, I don't really have mom. I don't have help to put my dog out or do laundry. Other than that, yeah. Yeah, I didn't know she walked up on me and I slid my hand on my leg and bam, I was like, ow, just stabbed myself with my cat. That's takes some talent right there. Yeah. Hey, Joyce. Right, I have to go. Hey, Joyce. Yeah. Ow. At least it wasn't in the crease of my finger like last time I got nailed by her. I mean, how talented do you have to be to stab yourself with your cat? It's like falling upstairs or tripping on air, I'm telling you. And I am finally on my second one of these little thingies. I just had to put a new one in. So this is my last one. But I've been out of tobacco for shit. I don't even remember. 4 or 5 days. I don't know. It seems like weeks. It's not by choice. Oh, well, you know, sometimes that works out, Kristen. Say now you can come and play with us and you'll be fine. Ah. Not very sturdy, these things. They don't really stand up too well when you knock them over. I'm glad you're doing well, Joyce. That's why my dog is indicate she's triggered, because one of the dogs was already outside. There you are, Missy. Where have you been?
Visiting another live.
Oh, I see how it is. And you have my tattered teddy. That's my tattered teddy. I need that in my life. You need to send me that picture, please.
I can do that.
Okay. I missed you.
I spent all day yesterday sleeping.
I figured because I didn't hear from you, but I wasn't going to panic. So when I started to panic was at 1:30 when we're usually in the back room chit-chatting and you were not around. And I'm like, hello.
No.
Hey, Darlene.
I was visiting another live.
Yes, please tell me who was more important than me, Tina.
I was caught up. I'm sorry. I was visiting Miss Southern Belle.
Alrighty. We're going to talk later.
You know how that is. You get caught up.
Uh-huh. I messaged you.
I see. Taps a paw. What you doing?
Yeah. Like, hello, where are you? You're late. Tina abandoned me. Did you see that? I was in here struggling all by myself.
You pulled through. You're fine.
There's fine and there's fine. Okay.
Oh.
What would I have done if Kristen hadn't been here to talk to me?
You would have pulled through.
I would have been very sad. Talking to myself and shit.
Do you want that tattered teddy or do you want the other tattered teddy?
I want all the tattered teddies, okay? I love tattered teddies. I actually had someone from England send me one, an actual stuffed one. It was so adorable. It should be still in my land of somewhere unless it got disappeared. Which I wouldn't doubt if my middle child took it. I love tattered teddies. I used to use them on tags all the time. Yeah, I copyrighted the shit out of those little suckers.
Well, there. Now you have 2 being sent to you.
Yay, thank you. Aww. That's cute. I like them both. Thank you.
You're welcome. I know, still doesn't excuse my tardiness.
Oh, Victoria has terrible timing. Victoria just went live. She's meeting Nana. So if anybody wants to go jump over to her live to see Nana, we can do that.
Okay, don't we see Nana and Victoria on a daily?
Well, she's meeting her in person. That's why she went live.
Oh. I see.
Yeah, Nana's in Florida.
Okay. And how's everybody doing? Anything new, interesting, fun?
No,
Did you share the news with everybody that you shared with me the other day?
I have not. I was going to wait until there were, like, more people. I suppose I could do it more than once, though. I got an email. Well, A couple of days ago, my landlord called me and said that he had found something that might work for the door for the door jamb, so that I could get out of the house. So he wanted to come over and see if he could put it in, see if it'll work. I'm like, sure. It's a good thing it worked because he whipped out the old one and there was no putting that one back. It's a low profile door jamb that works for the inside. I'll be able to get out, although there'll be a little bit of a drop because there's a lip on the outside. So we still have to figure out that, but it's progress. It's a good thing. But like 2 minutes after he had called me about it, I got an email saying that my new wheelchair has shipped early and it should be here July 21st.
So, yay!
Woohoo! Confetti, confetti, confetti.
I was happy. You know,
I'm happy. I'm very happy.
Because she was like bombarding my messenger going, hey, 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 hey.
I was so excited. Hi, Wendy. I was so excited and I wanted to share it with somebody, and Tina was like nowhere to be found. I'm like, hello. I'm sending little wiggle emojis and everything.
She was.
I was like, I'm excited. Wake up. Talk to me. Now, let's just hope that it actually gets here. So, yeah. So hopefully it'll be here on the 21st and nobody will steal it. And depending on whether or not my son's working or not, will depend on how soon it gets in the house. And, you know, should be able to use it by the 22nd.
I'm super excited for her. That means that, you know, we won't have to hear about the chair biting her anymore.
Yes, and it won't bite me anymore, which will be fantastic, you know. Hey, if that chair didn't give me anything to talk about, I wouldn't talk about it, okay? My leg hurts every time I talk about it.
So shush.
You shush.
Shush.
So yeah, you know, it'll make doing things easier. I mean, I still have the issue of my knee, but once I get in the chair, I'll be able to stay in it a little longer, and I'll be able to do more, and that's a good thing.
Yes, very much so.
Yep.
It will give the boy a few less things to bitch about.
Yeah, it was funny because when I mentioned the whole, you know, it depends on how long my son is working as to how I can get it in the house. And my mom's like, well, I might just have to come over and do it for you. I'm like, oh, God. Alrighty then. My mom's like bound and determined to get this wheelchair set up for me.
I don't want her.
Which is very sweet, but I don't want her hurting herself trying to take it out of a box. You know what I mean?
But, you know, it can always be just laid down and you cut the cardboard gently, carefully,
Yeah.
as to not damage the chair.
Right? Or my mother.
We don't need any human damage either.
No.
No human damage.
No bleeding humans, especially with my mom's. Her skin is so thin. But, well, hurry up, Wendy.
But
God,
shit, you just got your Wendy.
Right, and you were late. Hello, now you're going to be right back. Move it, woman. Oi. Yeah, so Tina, I don't know if you heard me. I I just put in the second one of these things.
Uh-huh.
I don't have anything to order anymore. I don't even know if where they sell them around here.
Any gas station.
Yeah, the problem is trying to explain to my neighbor if I asked him to go what it was I needed.
Yeah, send him with an empty cartridge and tell him that, yeah,
Well, I could send it with the box too. I still have the box.
that too.
Although these are the 1.8, which is like an
Ultralight.
ultralight, and that's probably why I'm going through it so fast, because I smoke lights. So I would need, what is it, a 2.5 or something?
Probably.
Yeah. I wish the gas station that we usually go to, the one that charges 35 cents if you use your debit card. I wish they had like a list of their products and stuff. Thank you. Is this the first she's been out? No answer, of course. Well, I already fed her this morning, so this afternoon, so she's not eating again. Of course he can't answer me. Silly. What was I thinking? That way I would know, because they don't have, not all the gas stations around here have all the same e-cig things. I'm sure that the tobacco shop would probably have them, but my neighbor doesn't like going up there for some reason. I don't know. Figure it out, I guess.
But yeah, just about any and all.
Kristen, I could, except I can't understand anything they say.
Yeah, just about every gas station over that way, no offense, is run by those of the Indian persuasion.
Yeah, East Indian, not American.
American.
Yeah, non-American ones. And the ones that they make fun of on The Simpsons, like, would you like to buy a Slurpee? Yeah, that kind of accent, only really heavy.
Yeah.
So I can't understand them. And whenever I used to go in there, if I needed something that was an unusual request, we ended up trying to do sign language and pointing to figure out what the hell I wanted. And they'd usually get it wrong. And I'd be like, no. And it was a process. That's why it takes so long to get in and out of that store. And the other gas station that's close to me, owned by the same people. So, yeah. So anyway, I found out something this morning that I have kind of verified around. Kristen, I don't have the money for shipping. There were only, if you buy the individual ones,
cheap to buy online.
Yeah, they're like $5.99 or whatever for one cartridge.
And what was it, $25 for so many?
Let me look. I was on there a little while ago, but my memory is. Let's see.
Point being is right now she is tapped.
Yep.
And sadly, so am I.
Let's see. Flavor. Let's see. For a 4-pod, that one was 2.4 is the other. It's 5, 2.4, and then 1.8. 2.4 for 4 of the little cartridges things is $16. For 2 of them, it's $10.
So they're inexpensive. They really are.
Yeah, comparatively, they are, because the first one lasted me a really long time. Individually,
well, that's because you had tobacco in between.
Yeah, but you've been using this. When did I run out of tobacco? Do you remember? Wasn't it Saturday?
Yeah, I believe so.
So I've been using this exclusively since Saturday, and I just finished that one pod. That was the first pod I had started on. Because your daughter had gotten a 2-pack.
Yeah.
So individually, they're $6, $5.99. And I have, I think, $12 still on my PayPal, thanks to my YouTube angel.
Yeah.
But then there's shipping. So, like if I add a $10 one.
Yeah, shipping always gets you. Unless you can get to the station, to the gas station to get things, you're screwed.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, at this point in time, you can't get to the gas station.
Shipping and delivery is $8. So
for something like that, though, you'd want to get more than just the 2-pack, you know?
Yeah. So
to make the shipping worth it.
Well, let's see what the. It's nice if they let you know what your damn shipping is. All right. Oh, they have decorative sleeve things now too that they.
Yes, they do.
It's like, well, some of them are kind of cool, but most of them are kind of like, not something I would. Let's see, for the 4-pack, which I can't afford that anyway.
Okay, you're in a rabbit hole. What did you
Yeah.
find out this morning?
I forget.
Oh, for the love of Pete.
Oh, I remember. I'll tell you in a sec.
Ouch.
You know you love me. Let me just see what this, because I don't know if it's the same thing. Stop giving me all this crap. Just go to my freaking. Oh my god. Now it's not going to let me go to the freaking shipping thing. Nope. Yeah, it's still $7.99 for shipping. I just didn't know if the higher dollar amount was going to cause it to change shipping. Sometimes it does. Yeah, I can't afford that anyway, so that's kind of all redundant. Anyway, what I found out this morning is that there's somebody people are getting angry at someone who goes to auctions and they're spending a lot of money.
Yeah.
They are not, however, trying to take over chats or run people's channels or tell people what to do. They are simply doing what you're supposed to do in an auction. You go to an auction, you bid on stuff, you win your bid, and bada bing, bada boom, Bob's your uncle, and you win your item.
Yeah.
And people are getting angry at this person for buying stuff.
Okay. That's
I'm like, now my first question, of course, because we, Kristen, have seen it, someone coming in, spending money, and trying to take over everything.
Yeah.
And acting like they own the place. And that is not the case here. And I verified this with a few different people. So I'm like, back the fuck off. Sit down before you hurt yourself and leave this person alone. What the hell?
Right.
Why are people? And they're being mean to her. Apparently, they're being rude and back talking and all kinds of shit. And I'm like, really? Leave them alone.
If somebody is just coming in, buying stuff, and not doing anything, what is the problem?
Mm-hmm. I mean, we used to joke around whenever Jonathan Alfaro came in a chat in an auction because they were like, fuck, forget it, nobody bid, you're not gonna win. You know what I mean? And it's the same with Kevin. If Kevin wants something, Kevin's gonna get it.
Well, yeah.
So it's like, well, shit, Kevin's here, never mind.
We always joked around with Dennis Dew, with him in the video games. If he wants something, he's going to get them.
Yeah, I mean, and it's just joking around, though. It's not meant to be cruel. I mean, I love Jonathan. I love Kevin. It's not anything to be cruel, saying, oh, well, shit, I might as well not even bother bidding. It's just fact. When these guys want something, they are going to get it. And they have the ability to get it, and that's great.
Right.
And both of them are resellers, so they're buying in order to resell it. See, with me, it's buying something for personal, and I'm not going to pay up to, I understand. Okay, Kristen. I understand that they want to leave some meat on the bone. Yes, Kristen. It popped up in her notification. Where? Yes, Kristen, that's the person. I mean, I'll say her name out loud. I don't have a problem with that. I don't know if she would. Although I'm trying to tell people to leave her the fuck alone. You know what I mean? She bids, and that's what she does. I mean, that's what you're supposed to do in an auction. That's why we have auctions, right? Is so people can bid on things, so you can sell things. So, hey, Les, no crazy sightings yet.
No.
I know you're probably nice to her, Kristen. But apparently she's, very shocked when someone is nice to her. Rebecca Rader, Virginia?
I don't know that name.
I've seen her in Victoria's chats. and it was brought up in a private chat, that people are getting wordy with her because she comes in and she bids, and it's like, that's what you're supposed to do. That's why it's called an auction and not a buy it now. It's not a sale, it's an auction. She is new. She's been around maybe a month and a half. Oh, did she, Wes? Wes, I'm starting to get jealous. Yeah. Yeah, Darlene. I mean, she hasn't given anybody a problem, and apparently there was a person who was nice to her afterwards, and she was shocked, and thanked the person for being nice to her. I'm like, you should not have to thank someone for being nice to you.
No.
If you were getting that much animosity thrown at you, that you have to be nice to someone who shows you kindness, there's a problem in our community. I mean, we all know there are problems, but be nice to Rebecca, people. Damn.
I don't know her, but that's crazy.
Yeah, I've seen her in Victoria's chat, and I know she's been going to auctions. I have not seen her in any auctions, which is why I checked with a few people who have been in auctions that she's in.
Yeah.
And everybody has said she's very nice. She's very sweet. She doesn't try and take over or lord it over anyone or any of the pretentious stuff. She is a reseller or starting to resell. I think Susie said she thought she was in a wheelchair. I'm not really sure, which doesn't
matter one way or the other.
Yeah, because I mean, I go in a wheelchair and I'm a complete bitch sometimes. So, so yeah. One of her gangster thugs said he was up for face-to-face. The felon said he owned guns. Oh, he's a felon and he owns guns. Bye, Felicia. Tell Bubba we say hey. Oh, she goes into Tadia's auction. Okay.
Okay, that would be. I haven't been to T's in a long time.
Yeah, well, I mean, she does like book auctions. She does. I can't go into auctions, so I just can't because I don't have the money to even think about bidding, let alone actually bid. So I can't go. It is mentally detrimental for me to go into auctions at this point. How she was. Kristen, I take it you're talking about Kathy, not Rebecca. Yeah. Yeah, she doesn't seem to say anything anywhere else.
I'll say she did a 4-hour one last night.
Okay, Darlene.
It said something about calling out channels or something, and I'm like, what? Who the hell's she calling out? Or is she shouting out? Whatever. Yeah. I don't know. I didn't pay it no mind. I just let it go.
I saw it on the YouTube homepage thing under lives.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that's nice. And kept going. I'm like, nope. So my premise for this conversation was, if someone is doing what you're supposed to do in an auction, they're bidding, just because they win more things than you, don't get bitter. You know what I mean? Just, if you want the item that bad, then bid against them. If it's something that you really want. I mean, I wouldn't go over a reasonable price for anything, but if it's, you want an item, then bid. Don't flap your jaws about, no, they always bid on everything. Yes, because they want it.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, if I had money, none of y'all would get hardly any of the stuff in any of these auctions because there's way too much stuff that I like. I would turn into a hoarder in like one day. One of our everyday panel is a convicted felon who was in prison, but I'm the bad guy. Hey, John was in prison for 4 years, and he wasn't a bad guy. He was stupid sometimes, but he wasn't a bad guy. And yeah, you are the bad guy, Wes. Still there. Yeah. Just because someone's been in prison doesn't mean that they actually committed the crime they went to. or that they're actually a bad person. And 9 times out of 10, yes, they are, but not always.
So I've known a lot of people that's been to prison.
Yep.
They're actually pretty good people.
Hey, I hung out with a guy that went to prison for murder when I was living in my car, and he actually beat the crap out of the guy that I was living in the car with because the guy punched me in the face and then stole my car. And when he came back, the guy, the former prison inmate, he beat the shit out of that guy. I was like, "Thank you," and give me my car keys back. Yeah, Victoria has a ton of cherished teddies that she got at the Goodwill stores and all that, wherever the thrift stores they were in. And I showed her the one that I still have, which is one that's in a it's one of the teddies, and it's in a little devil costume.
Oh, well, what are we having for lunch?
And that one I got for my son. And the others I lost in my storage unit, unfortunately. But I found one when I was looking for the one for my son, a picture of it. I found one it's a little witch cherished teddy, and I was like, oh my god! And I sent the picture to Victoria. I was like, I need this one in my life. So she's gonna look because she doesn't remember if she got that one or not. But she's gonna look and see if she has it. I can't buy it right this second, but I know
does
she'll.
He still do it though?
Yeah. What kind of drugs was he dealing? Because these days dealing pot's legal. I've known a ton of people that have dealt drugs too. I don't condone it, but hell, I used to have crackheads hitting their pipes in front of my house. I go out there with a big stick and chase them away. I'm sorry, do your drugs like where you're supposed to, at home. Don't be doing them out on the street or in your car. Or I had them driving past my house, hitting their pipes while they were driving. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm so glad I'm not on the road right now. Yeah, Kristen, I was collecting them for my kids. I had the like a winter. It was all winter theme. It was all blue and white, like costume that the teddy was wearing, and I got that one for my daughter Desiree, who was born in March. And then I got I forget what one I got. Oh, I got a cheerleading one for my daughter Kayla because she was following her cousin around who was doing cheerleading competitions, and like my daughter Kayla was like 3.5, 4 years old, and she had these little play pom-poms, and she was following this girl all over the place with these little pom-poms. Ironically, my daughter then became a cheerleader later on, but yeah, I had her little Karis Teddy in a cheerleading costume. But I lost the winter one and the cheerleading one. Virginia, what are you sending me? La 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 la. Aw, those are cute. Oh, I love the little one with the phone. I'm going to send that picture to Tina every time I want to call her now. Yeah, they're cute. I love cherished teddies. And then I have this whole bear theme going on, so, that works for me. My StreamYard is stuck. Interesting. They are cute. Point is, these are her new friends, but resellers are bad. Trash for trash. She deserves them. Yeah. Yeah, I agree, Wes. I mean, I don't know their legal histories or anything, but some of the people on there are creepy as fuck. Oh, cat. No kitty cats today. I have a statue of Boyd Bear. Our 5 minutes of fame are over here. Next topic. I have a statue, a little resin sculpture of a bookcase with a few different bears on it and around it and sitting in front of it, and they're all reading and hanging out. And it's a Boyd Bear statue type of thing that my best friend's boyfriend of the time, at the time, got me for Christmas one year. And when he broke up with her, he asked me if he could have it back because I guess it cost him quite a bit of money. And I was like, no. And I walked away. I'm like, hell no. You can't give me bears as a gift and expect to get them back. Now, if they had been Boyd bunnies, I might have considered giving it back, but they were not. They were Boyd bears, and they were mine. Fuck you, dude. You don't take back a Christmas present. What the fuck? You know? Once that shit's in my hands and I've unwrapped it and it's mine. My husband wanted the engagement ring back. I was like, screw you. I was like, you're the one who broke that promise, not me. I said, however, I paid for the wedding bands and you broke that vow, so give me the ring back. You know? Tina, where'd you go? Why do we have the cone of silence? Hey, Hotness! My badass Hotness. Yeah, Wendy, you are so not an angel. Well, you're there, but you're not here. Why are you in the chat and not talking? Hello? Oh, okay. I will allow that excuse. Oh, cool. Nature hike. Get anything good? Like shells or cool rocks or anything like that? You know, you can find gold in South Carolina. Shh, don't tell anybody. Hey, Wes, she's at the beach, you know. Just, you know, that bikini thing. Nature hike code for naked. You do not want to hike naked. I'm just saying. It's not pretty. Lizard dudes. Yeah, there's lizards all over the place. So anyway, before Wes derailed us and all that, why are you licking the mat? Stop that. Dog is weird. Be nice to people in auctions. I mean, they have money. They're helping the person who's got the auction. If you don't have the money to bid on something higher than, you know, a $5 starting bid, then that's not that person's fault. They have the money to do it. They've done it. Be nice. There's no reason to be a douchebag. Now, if it's somebody like, you know, that comes in and I'm going to buy everything and then I'm going to tell everybody what to do and da-da-da, yeah, I can see, you know, I can see being upset at that because I get upset at that and I'm not even bidding. You know what I mean? I'm in the auction. I've gone to auction to show support and I've watched these people just slowly try and take over or just abruptly try and take over, and it's ridiculous. So I don't go there anymore.
Yes. Don't be a Richard.
Yeah, don't be a Richard. Apologies to anyone whose name is actually Richard. They can't help that they were named that. So.
And yes, my dad's still here, but I couldn't resist.
Hi, Dad.
No, he's in the other room, but I'm sure he'll pop in a minute again.
Okay. So yeah, I just don't understand why people have to be like that. I mean, Kristen, her ex-husband's name is Richard. That's funny. Oh, isn't it ironic? I mean, if I could hear from somebody who, well, then it fits West. No, I'm kidding. If I could hear from somebody on the other side of that coin, like why someone is getting irritated at someone who's bidding, you know what I mean? Like why they're getting angry or why they're getting upset and not being exactly nice, I guess. I mean, I can't even imagine why, except it's just, you know, sour grapes. Like you wanted that and you didn't get it, so that person's a jerk because they got it. I don't get it. I mean, there were a few things when I had money that I would bid on, and other people outbid me. Jonathan Alfaro, for one, every single time. But I didn't get mad. I mean, that's what the fuck the auction is for, is to sell shit to the highest bidder. You know? Otherwise, just go to buy it nows and hope that you can, bam. A lot of complaints are about sourcing. She's taking it all, but she can't take it all if other people bid above her. If you beat her in the bidding, then what are people supposed to be like? Oh, well, this is reserved for so and so. So you know what I mean?
Well, if something is reserved for so and so, then it shouldn't be put up on for auction.
Yeah, I mean, the whole reason they put it up for auction is to get bids on it, and whoever gets the highest bid gets the item. So if she's got the money and she's paying her bills, correctly, like she's paying her invoices without any problems, and she's not being a bitch in chats, then shut the fuck up. Exactly. If you want it that badly, then outbid her. I mean, that's how auctions work. So, well, that's on her that she won't make that much money on it, or she'll put a price too high on it and she won't sell it. I mean, that's just a personal,
Yeah.
But nobody else has the right to complain about her paying too close to retail. I mean, that's on her, not on anybody else. You know what I mean? If she wants it, she wants it. Maybe she has a viable source that she can sell it for higher than what the rest of us resellers would be able to get for it. It depends a lot on location too. Like Susie was saying, that stuff that we find here in the South, where I am, we go into a yard sale or a garage sale or a thrift store, and stuff is like $1 or $2 or 50 cents or whatever. In Jersey, where she is, that stuff's going for $5 or $6. Hell, she said she went to a yard sale or something the other day, and she picked up a pair of jeans, just regular jeans, and the woman wanted $25 for them at a fucking yard sale. She was like, nope, and put them down. They weren't even a name brand. Yeah, she's not anything like Kathy. I've seen her in Victoria's chats and talked to her. She's nothing like. Yeah, you did it, Wes. But see, Kathy did it in order to outbid people, just to outbid people. Just wasn't because she wanted that shit. Hell, half the time she gave it away. Try to buy people with the stuff that Well, that's what I'm saying, Rhonda. That's why I brought it up, is because people are being not nice to her, and I did check around, and everybody has told me she's a sweetheart. She's not trying to take over chats like other people. She's just buying stuff, and that's what the auctions are for. And people need to stop being mean to her. That's what I would say.
What she was saying.
Yeah.
She hasn't said anything.
No, I was sticking up.
Any connotation.
I was sticking up for her. I said, stop being mean to Rebecca. So, and anybody else that does that, I mean, if people got money and they can bid, leave them the fuck alone. You either outbid them or don't bid, or just deal with the fact that you lost the bid. This is what auctions are for.
Yep.
Point blank. It's daytime, Virginia. I will sleep during the day. Most of them.
Virginia is where Hootie Hoo is sleeping.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said I will sleep during the day. Is that Oscar?
What the fuck?
I was like, whoa, is that Oscar? I've never heard him bark. So yeah, that was because I heard, and I don't like people being treated unfairly or cruelly for no reason, and that seemed to be no reason to me, so I figured I'd bring it up. Yes. Wes, you and Farmer, man. He is a nice guy. I've talked to him before.
I miss Farmer.
Yeah, Rhonda, it's true. And I mean, a lot of it might be sour grapes because for most people, I mean, their money that they start off with at the beginning of the year is kind of worn down, you know, if they haven't been doing good sales. But hey, I mean, it is what it is, and auctions are what they are. And if you don't want to be in an auction, then go to a buy it now sale and hope that you get your bin in before somebody else.
Yep.
And if you don't, shut the fuck up. Oh my God. Stop being annoying. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, Rhonda, let's not forget about that. Missy. Unbelievable. You're as bad as Gary.
Oh,
I want to go to Gary's house and just open all his boxes. Gary was another one. If he started bidding on something, it's like, nope, I'm done. There's no way I could win, you know. But I wasn't bitter over it. I mean, I don't understand why. Rhonda's museum of boxes, right? And she's probably got some really awesome stuff in those boxes, and they're all just sitting there. So everybody be mad at Rhonda for outbidding everyone and then not even opening the boxes when she gets them. No, I'm kidding. Don't be mad at Rhonda. Rhonda's a sweetheart. Yeah, but it seems that there are some other buyers that are not as appreciative of some buyers, and that's just... It's not right to be mean to somebody because they are able to afford things and they're bidding on it. I mean, that's... Oh, and I have to say something because he said that he wasn't going to be able to make it for the show because it's like 4 o'clock in the morning where he is. Hi, Thomas. He said he would watch later, so.
Oh my God, my dog barks again. What the hell?
Your dog okay?
I think he's dreaming.
Hi, Pam. All right, Pam, because your name is spelled with an E on the end of Victoria keeps saying Pammy. Is it Pammy or Pam? I don't want to say it wrong. Wow, her dog's out of control. I've never heard Oscar bark before. Okay. I asked her, Rhonda, not you. Jeez, always gotta stick your font in there, don't you, Rhonda? It's just an odd spelling for the name Pam, that's all. So I didn't know if it was, well, odd to me. I've never seen it spelled that way. Pamela, okay. Okay, well, what do you prefer? Because, like, my son's name is John, but I always had to call him Johnny because there were way too many people with the name John in our family, in his paternal family. Hey, Papa. So he hates being called Johnny because he said it makes him sound like he's 5-year-old. So in front of his friends, I try and just call him John. Sometimes I mess up.
But he acts like he's 5.
Sometimes, yeah. Pamela is a nice name. I like it. So, I mean, and yet there's some people like Cajun. Cajun goes by Johnny, and he has absolutely no problem with that. So, you know, it's personal preference. So that's why I ask. Rhonda, are you laughing at me? Excuse me. Yeah, my dad's name was John, but we called him Jack. And I should have thought of that when my son was little and just called him Jack. But for some reason I didn't, because I tried not to think of my father as much as possible. So yeah, I should have actually. Then we wouldn't have this problem. Although then he would have gotten teased with names like Jack Off and Jacking, and you know how kids are. So, but yeah, my dad's was always called. I would call his work and ask for John, and they'd be like, "Who?" I'd be like, "Oh, right, Jack," and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, hold on." So yeah. My real name, I mean, I'm sure Darlene knows that there are all kinds of different connotations and nicknames that can go along with that name. Papa, for about half an hour, you were Pamela Joe, huh? So you're in touch with your feminine side. That's good. Tina. Serious case of the wolves. Simi doesn't do that in her sleep. She howls. A really high-pitched puppy howl. Tina's heard it. And it's so funny because it will come out of nowhere. She'll be sleeping, all of a sudden it's... I'm like, what the hell? It sounds like a tire losing air. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? And it's just my dog howling like a little tiny baby husky or something. Yeah, Wes, there are problems with the name Jack. But there are problems with the name John, too, because John is something that pays for a hooker. It's also a toilet. So, But, I mean, with my name, I got Dar, I got D, I got Darl. That one was fun. Then the guy up the street just called me Lobster Girl because every summer I turned bright red. That was, like, blended with my hair. It was horrible. Hi, Jack. Yeah, that'd be bad. So, I don't like my name. For me. Now, for other people, I have no problem with it. The name Darlene means so long hoped for. Considering how I was treated, that kind of doesn't make sense. But so I picked Kodi, and that's the name I use in person and online and through the mail and all of that. I get mail to this name, so the post office has acknowledged it as a legal name. If I had the money, I'd get my name changed. I wouldn't change my last name. I like my last name.
It's your alias.
Yeah, alias. It's an acknowledged alias. I wonder if the FBI added this one to the list they had for me. Yes, I had an FBI file. I don't know if I still have it or if they shredded it or whatever with no activity, but 21 years ago, I had an FBI file.
That's insane. Because
I was a CBer. And the CBers in Lowell, Massachusetts were considered one of the largest gangs in the state. So being a gang, it got the FBI's attention, and they had real names. They had real names and the CB handles of and any other nicknames or anything they went by, had them all written down on a list. Oh, yeah. So, yep, I had an FBI file. I looked my actual name up on Google. I Googled it, and then the yellow pages or whatever, there are like 25 people with the same name as me. They came up everywhere from Washington State to Kodiak Island. I thought that one was pretty cool. Kodiak, Alaska. Considering that cat, really? The fuck? The one that I, the Kodi that I use is short for Kodiak. So I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, I'm like, wow, okay. There were a whole bunch of Darlene Fontaines. I'm like, well, look at that. And they had my last two addresses. Well, they did not have all my last two addresses. They had this address and they had the house that we were in before this one. But they didn't have my North Carolina. They didn't have my my Florida, all of them, you know. So I'm like, wow, you guys are slacking. Because I registered all of them with the post office, so they should all shut up, but they didn't. So, hey, I have no secrets. You know what I mean?
Yep. That I do.
Tina wishes I had kept something secret. Your FBI file says you're an asshole, so it's confirmed. It's good to know. Very good to know. Yeah. It's always a good thing. It's always good to have that confirmation.
Right? Too funny. What else is going on? Anything?
I had green beans for dinner last night.
Green beans?
Yep, and cheeseburgers.
Okay. I was fixing to be pissy.
No, I asked him if he had anything planned, and he just kind of looked at me, and I was like, "Well, if you don't," and then I asked him for that. So then he came in and got the plate, and I asked him what he was making. He's like, "What you asked for?" I'm like, "Well, I didn't know if you were planning on making something else. I mean, he did buy some things for, you know, meals, so I didn't know if he was actually gonna cook or not, but."
Right.
But I did get my green beans, so I got my veggies. It was good. They were a little hard for me to eat. I didn't expect green. I mean, they were the frozen ones, not canned, so they were a little crisper. But I gnawed through those fuckers because they were really good. It's for you.
Yeah.
Well, Wes, we already know that. Kristen. Well, they could, Wes, but you haven't talked any shit about Fluffy yet, so go ahead. I mean, aside the fact that we all still know he's the thief and a liar and all that, you know, you haven't said anything about Fluffy, so they can't tell him that you were saying anything. So you'll have to say something first.
Exactly.
So, go. And go. Type faster. Kristen, that was funny. Crazy is about as dry as a popcorn fart.
Right?
And I read that with a southern accent, too. That was funny. Yeah, he's wrenched at Legend, but Lenny got blocked. That makes absolutely no sense.
Wrenched at Legends and got blocked.
Lenny got blocked.
Oh, yeah, Lenny did. Yeah, I know that.
Yep.
I actually miss Lenny.
I do too. He was on Jen's channel Sunday doing an auction, but I couldn't stay awake. I had to go to bed. So, oh, Kristen said Lenny got blocked on Legends for whining too much. Seriously, with all the people that go in there that whine. Yeah. Well, just don't do them both at the same time, Hotness, because that means you'll drown, and that'd be bad. I would go swimming really quick, like just take a quick dip, shower off, dry off, and take a nap. Because I love the water, so. Wes. Pixar didn't happen, Amy. Nice try, Wes. Tina, are you looking at your screen?
Am I looking at my screen? I am now.
So busted.
Yep.
In case people don't know, my dog hates it when the cats get too close to her. Yeah. So the cat waited until the dog was asleep and then curled up right against her belly. And I actually, what's funny, hold on, give me a sec.
And that tattoo is the stupidest shit you've ever seen, huh, Kristen?
It's so ugly.
It is awful. Whoever the tattoo artist was sucked.
Okay, this is one I just took.
Nah.
Busted again. The dog is dead out. She's dead out. Yeah. I took this one because you had said you wanted a picture of my door jamb, right?
Right.
Well, I took this one. Hold on, let me make me big. I hate being big. Okay. I took this.
Yeah.
Come on.
I see.
Now, the black part is what he just put in, so it's a lower profile. I'll be able to get over that.
Yeah.
But where is it? This part right here is a lip.
Yeah.
And it's... I used one of the Amazon envelopes to kind of show... I don't know if you can see how deep it is. It's
Yeah.
that bottom blue band is what, like a half an inch wide? And in some parts it comes to that half inch, and in some parts it doesn't. I don't know. Yeah, it's not. Hold on, let me see if I can.
Send them to me in text. It'll be easier.
I tried that and it won't do it. My phone says everything's too big.
Then send them an email.
I can't do that either. My phone won't let me send email.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, I know. Story of my life. Hello. Did you get? I mean, I tried sending you. Hold on. Oh, I tried sending you a text with the picture of my pizza. Did you get it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll try sending those later. Yeah, can you believe what they did to my fucking pizza? It's like the bitch dropped it or something. I'm like, what the fuck? My pasta was all on one side of the container, too.
How we do?
When I opened it, I just thought they only gave me half a container of pasta because there wasn't enough in there that it wasn't a full serving. But, Kristen, that means work. Okay, I did not read all the manual because Tina kept laughing at me.
Well, then do it when you ain't on with me, silly woman.
That's boring.
But yeah.
But yeah, when I got my pizza so that I could get my drinks, which I still have 2 bottles left, I opened the pizza and I couldn't open the box. It was stuck. And I'm like, what the hell? And I wrenched the box open and all of the toppings were slid to one side of the pizza. I mean, the other side was like nothing. It was all poop on one side and it was stuck to the top of the box. I was peeling cheese off of there for like 20 minutes. I'm like, damn. You know, luckily it was the garlic parmesan pizza, the garlic parmesan sauce. So even without toppings on those other, it was like 4.5 slices or something. It was still good. It was tasty. But yeah, I had to eat the rest with like a fork and 1 slice at a time because I ordered double cheese. So with all of it on one half of the pizza, it was quadruple cheese. It was a lot of cheese, but it was so good. Yeah, I ate my pizza with a fork. I had no choice. I couldn't pick it up. It was all falling all over the place. So,
but it was still yummy.
It was absolutely delicious, and I full out appreciate the person, Kristen, who helped me get my my drinks and something to eat. Thank you. God, I miss pizza. I was like, yes.
You
I'm so
hadn't
happy.
had pizza in quite a while.
I haven't had pizza in months, and it was pizza is sustainable. It lasts me for like 24 hours. I'm not hungry because if I get the munchies, I just grab a piece of pizza and I'm good to go. Whereas sitting here for 24 hours waiting for food is really annoying. So. And the look on his face was not happy. I'm like, yeah, it had double cheese. It had spinach, diced tomatoes, which their diced tomatoes are absolutely huge. I'm like, no, that's tomato chunks. That's not diced tomato.
Yeah.
And chicken and mushrooms. It was really good.
Sounds very, very good right now.
It was so good.
Hush,
It does. It does sound good. Shut up, I'm hungry.
I said, even I'm going, hush. That sounds very, very good.
Yeah.
Florida's hot, but you're having fun. That's what matters.
Yep. It was nice to see you guys having fun, like Grace and everybody. I love it. I didn't want you guys to stop the video. I don't care who you're bothering. Screw them if they don't like it. Tell them to be quiet or they're going to end up as a Karen on YouTube.
That's right.
But I'm glad you guys are having a good time. That's the point of vacation, is to relax, enjoy, and have a good time.
I miss Florida. God,
I miss
Florida.
I miss Florida too. And Amy, the area that Victoria lives in is where I lived when I lived in Florida.
I was only in the Panhandle area.
Yep, I lived in Middleburg. And
I've been in Jacksonville area as well because I came in out of the Georgia area down into Jacksonville.
Yep. I lived in Middleburg and Orange Park. Those are the two places that I lived. And the Middleburg Baptist Church people, the people that were the most helpful all lived in Orange Park, which was kind of weird. But yeah, I used to, the one lady, Liz, her and her husband would have like Thanksgiving and Christmas weren't just for their family. They would invite anybody that wanted to come, and they would have huge tables of food, and oh my God, the food's so good. And they would come and pick me up and go, no, you're coming to, you're not going to be having the holidays by yourself. You're coming with us. And I'm like, okay. Yep, right now Nana's with Victoria. Like I said, anybody that wanted to go to her live, I don't know if she's still live or not, but that notification came up. They were very sweet people, Susie. Liz and Rick were so sweet. It ended. It was only, meeting Nana, her that one was only 3.5 minutes long or so. Victoria is such a tease. But they were very, very sweet. Every Wednesday they had a dinner at the church, and Liz would come and get me and take me up to the dinner. Just so that it would save me on my food for the meal. They would either Liz, Rick, or one of the other church people, Judy, would come and get me when I needed to go to the store. And they were very, very nice. Very, very sweet people. Yeah. No volume on that live? Welcome back, Darlene. So I liked it. I liked Florida. I just ran out of places to live there because I had to live with other people. I can't afford a place of my own. I did look into Habitat for Humanity when I was there. I did look into all kinds of shit and just nothing. Have fun swimming, Amy.
Oh, enjoy it, please.
Yeah. Swim some for me.
I miss swimming. I miss the beach.
Yeah, I don't miss the
Even though
beach.
I looked like a whale, I don't care. I loved it.
I have never liked the beach, but I like water.
Like I said, even though I looked like a whale, I didn't care. I loved it.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's funny. Kids used to make fun of me for being big when I was at camp and everything, and we'd have swim whatever. Well, just
Honey, you can tread.
float,
Okay.
float, or stay. Don't go in water above 4 feet because otherwise you'll be over your head. But kids used to make fun of me at camp because I've always been big, and till I outswam them. Then they shut the fuck up because this fat girl could move in water. Let me tell you.
See, I could move back in my younger years. I could move on land or in water. It didn't matter.
Yep.
But now I can't really move on land.
Now I'd swim in circles. I was watching a shark documentary type of thing, and there was a guy that lost an arm and a leg to a shark, and he became
well, then stay in the kiddie pool where it's only 3 feet, honey.
Yeah, stay in the shallow water. We don't want you to get floated away. And he had a wetsuit on, and the one leg, he had his amputation for his leg, where he lost his leg was about where my amputation is, and he actually had this setup that went through his wetsuit, I guess, so his wetsuit would hold it on, and it was a flipper, like you would put on your foot, the flip thing, but it was just a flipper, the top part of it,
Mm-hmm.
on his stump, and I'm like, huh, that would actually work. I'm like, that's pretty cool, because he became like a shark conservationist. Hey Tim, after a shark tried to kill him, he became a shark conservationist. I'm like, well then. Yeah, now I'm watching this documentary series on Australia.
Where everything wants to kill you?
Yeah. There's like 3 seasons of it so far, and I'm like, huh. Alrighty then. They have fish out there that hop out on land and kind of walk. I'm like, only in Australia.
No,
They
we
do.
got snakeheads here. They can go on land.
Their front fins work like legs, and they like skimmer all over the place. I'm like, no. This is like reverse. This is like evolution happening in front of us. To get back in the damn water, you stupid fish. There's enough things in Australia. This thing will probably try and turn around and figure out how to kill you too. Craziness. Crazy. Yeah, there's some really weird animals in Australia. Yeah, Amy needs floaties. You can't use flotation devices. What do they want people to drown? What the hell? They're probably like, if you need a flotation device, just stand in your shower or take a bath. Don't get in the pool. Rubber ducky, you're the one. John had a thing about rubber ducks. I'm not really sure where it stemmed from, but he had a thing about rubber ducks. He would collect them, and then he started getting them for talent. So then every time we took talent to his store and he saw a little rubber ducky or something, he wanted it. It was a toss-up between the Hot Wheels and the rubber ducks. Which one he wanted more? It was funny. But I used to find the coolest little rubber ducks everywhere with like little different outfits on and stuff.
Those are the best ones.
Yeah. His favorite one that I got him was a little rubber duck with a little naval hat on him, like the little white naval caps, and a little tie. Because his dad was in the Navy, so. I was like, look, he's got his dress whites on. He's like, shut up. Because John, when he was he actually started to go to a military academy. And he had inspection, and his dad was there. And his dad had to be at some fancy something or other, so he was wearing his dress whites. And John's mom had fed him, that was the first time she had ever served beets.
Oh.
And this is how they found out John was allergic to beets, because he puked all over his father while his father was in his dress whites.
That's no good.
Yeah, none of them were happy. And they found out John could not eat beets. So I was like, and John told me this. I was like, you shouldn't have told me that. He goes, why? I was like, so now I know how to kill you. Oops. He was like, oh, fuck. So, yeah. What was funny is that one of his girlfriends served him beets. He was like, I can't eat this. And there was like, the beets had butter or something on them. So there was, the beet juice ran all over the food. He couldn't eat any of it because beet juice touched everything. And he's like, thanks for nothing. I can't eat that.
That's crazy.
Bye, hotness. Have fun.
Have fun, kiddo.
So she was pissed off, and he was like, well, you asked me what are the foods I can't eat, and I told you beets, and then you serve it to me. So who has the right to be pissed off here? That was the turnip that would stalk him, that actually activated his phone so that she could keep calling him. She put minutes on his phone just so she could call and harass him. I'm like, okay. That's the psycho gene right there.
Yep.
Yeah.
That it is.
Yeah. I mean, having a certain level of crazy is fun. But once they cross over to that psycho area, nope, run. I mean, we had to call the cops on that bitch. Because when he stopped acknowledging her calls, because I took his phone and shut it off, when he stopped responding, she started harassing my phone. And I was like, bitch, go away. And she's like, well, I want to talk to him. And I was like, I don't really give a fuck what you want. Shut the fuck up and go away. And she's, blasting my phone and stuff. And I'm on a minute plan too. So I'm like, what the hell? Luckily, mine was unlimited. So I wasn't really worried about her using up all my minutes. But if I had been on, a minute plan where it used up my minutes every time I got her sent a text, I would have been pissed. But I called the cop. I'm like, look, she's harassing us on our phones. And I showed him, John had to have had about 40 texts from this woman, none of which he responded to. And the cop is reading them like, what in the hell is wrong with this girl? And I'm like, I don't know, but here's mine. And then, the first couple I responded telling her to leave us alone, and she refused to do it. So he went to her house, told her to leave us alone. As soon as he left her house, she immediately texted me with, calling the cops on me isn't going to make me stop. Fuck you, bitch. She's like, there's nothing he can do to me. And so he showed up back at our house and goes, well, I went and talked to her. I'm like, yes, I know. And I handed him my phone. And he was like, that bitch. Now you know what we're dealing with. He goes, well, if she shows up, call me. I'll have no problem arresting her for trespassing. I'm like, okay. He's like, if you can get her to swing first, that'd be great. I'm like, I could probably do that.
Get her to swing first.
Well,
I understand the premise. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I do. I understand that premise.
Yep, because then it's self-defense.
Yeah.
Of course, the cop also muttered under his breath, and if anything extreme happens, just remember to drag her all the way in the house first.
Yeah.
Castle law.
Yep.
Yeah. But we actually didn't have too many problems with her after that, so whatever works. And I just looked at John, I was like, why do you bring this shit into my life? I told you, no Jerry Springer, and you continuously do this. Get better taste in women. Ugh.
Really?
Every once in a while it goes a little deeper than what I expect,
Maybe it's time to quit.
Huh?
Huh? Yeah, no, I didn't say a word.
No, I didn't. I honestly didn't hear you.
Good.
Maybe it's time I quit completely.
Uh-huh.
No.
Damn it.
No. So, yeah, John's taste in women didn't improve after that because then he started dating Issa. So, what do you think with you, Tina?
Not a whole lot.
Besides sleeping all day yesterday?
I needed it. I was mentally drained for some reason. I don't know why.
Probably being so angry on my behalf.
And like I said, I was just completely mentally drained and I needed sleep. I had a screaming headache that wouldn't go away. So I was popping Tylenol and sleeping and yeah.
Yeah, I'm out of I'm out of Tylenol.
Tim was
You know what? Sorry.
babysitting, so I was home alone. Damien was at work. It was a great day. I was home alone. It was quiet. It was fantabulous, I'm telling you.
That's awesome.
I love silence. But then everybody came home.
Yeah, well, there is that.
But Tim did come home and lay down, and he went to sleep as well. So, because he wasn't feeling good either. So,
Remember how I told you, what, like almost Friday or Saturday, that my elbow, I kept getting that, like it needs to pop type of thing? My elbow has been bothering me ever since. It's twinging on me, and every once in a while, I'll go to reach for something, and it will go pop, and I'm like, what the hell?
yeah.
I better not be getting arthritis in my elbow. I'll be so upset.
Well, honey, you got it all naturally everywhere.
Shut up. I don't want it everywhere. Bad enough I got it on my knees and my hands. I don't want it in my elbows, too. If I get arthritis in my elbows, I'm going to have a hard time supporting myself to get up.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I go to grab something, and
Mine pop and lock all the time, make all kinds of racket.
Yeah, but mine haven't. I mean, this one's not. This one's perfectly fine, but this one, it's right here that it hurts, right there, in that of your elbow. And that's when I straighten my arm out. That's where it hurts. I don't know. I don't recall doing anything to it, but Kodi is falling apart.
Well, obviously, you've already lost parts and pieces. Hello.
I know, right? Limbs and shit are starting to fall off. What the fuck? And I can't even say I got, it was a shark attack or anything. It was just me trying to not get bandages dirty and putting on some stupid little boot thing and rolling my ankle. Only I could cause such chaos on myself by walking. Okay? Should have just said fuck it and left the boot off. I would have been fine. But no.
What's going on, Kristen? What's going on with you, Miss Darlene? How's things going?
Tina needs input, people. Come on.
Yep.
Participate. That's what chat is for. Move it. Don't make me turn my camera back off. Since Tina's isn't on.
Nope.
Why not?
Don't wanna.
This is not proper participation. Kristen is tired.
I understand that.
She had to get up early and go to the DMV today, and that will drain anybody. Oh, her granddaughter was talking to her. Input, that's right. Johnny Five needs input. See, even the robot didn't mind being called Johnny Five.
Papa, what is good for dinner this evening?
Shut up, Tina, I'm hungry. I don't think my son is working today. Maybe he's actually going to cook something good. Sure, it can. I don't see why not. Kristen, yes.
I think Kristen totally approves.
It is Kristen approved.
I've been busy trying to put together my Walmart grocery order.
Aww.
Oh, that sounds so good.
I'm going to Papa's house. It has been... I'm not spreading bad shit, okay? Guano is stinky. It has been so long since I have had pot roast.
Papa always has something good.
Yeah. I still can't believe my mom bitched that I got the crock pot and a rice cooker, but you don't cook. I haven't been able to, woman. What the hell? You wait until I get that wheelchair. I'll be cooking as soon as I have something to cook. We don't really have anything that I'd be able to, that I'd want to cook in either one of those. Well, I have rice. I can cook my own rice. Rice cooker makes it so much easier.
I know, right? Pot roast, yum.
But I do not have money for groceries, so.
But I've got on my grocery list, because I've been making my Walmart list. I've got roast on there. But I've got it on there for making soup. I'm in a soup mood.
They are, Kristen. What I see, pot roast is iffy with me because of my teeth. So sometimes I can eat it and sometimes I can't. And I don't want to cook it and not be able to eat it. So, ew, sweet potatoes. Gross.
Oh, yum, sweet potatoes.
But I have done pork tenderloins in the crock pot, and they are so good. They just fall apart. Mine is actually a crock pot. It's the crock pot brand and everything, and it's huge. And thanks to Christy, who let me use her Kohl's box. Yeah, her Kohl's Cash. And it was on Labor Day, I think, so they had a discount on it. I got really good, and I went right to the sales thing too. I didn't even bother with full price anything. I went right to the sales section, and I'm like, when I was in Florida, I used a rice cooker, and that thing was absolutely fantastic. I mean, I do know how to cook rice in a pot, like on the stove, without getting it all stuck. I do know how to cook rice, but that rice cooker was a dream, and I was like, ooh. So I've wanted one ever since then, and they had one on sale, so I grabbed that, and then I was like, Issa broke my crock pot, never replaced it, so I looked, and they had one, an actual crock pot, and the thing's massive. It's a really big one, and got that on sale. Yeah, save in 50 years it'll be collectible. And that's when I got my big flippy sweatshirt and my Harry Potter shirt that says Mischief Managed and glows in the dark. Kristen, that's awesome. I've never shopped at Kohl's because I can't afford it. And I honestly, even with the stuff on sale, could not have afforded it. But thanks to Christy being generous and letting me have her Kohl's Cash, I was able to get things that I needed and things that I wanted, like my sweatshirt, which actually technically the sweatshirt was both a want and a need because my room got so cold that I was freezing. So the sweatshirt is awesome. It's a Champion and it's huge and I love it.
See, Papa, that is why I don't have certain things like the air fryer, because I really would like to do that and switch from having everything fried in grease.
Yeah.
I don't have space to put things so that they're out of the way. I don't have counter space. And the Instapot, I really don't want that because I'm not fond of a pressure cooker to begin with.
Oh,
So,
Papa, that's cool. His Instapot has an accessory lid that makes it an air fryer. That's cool. Kristen, that's awesome. That is awesome. Kristen's all hooked up with cool stuff, man. I wouldn't mind having an air fryer too because using the oven for me is dangerous, and I can't, like with French fries and stuff. I won't use the fryer. My son has a double fryer, and I won't use it. So if I want French fries, I'm shit out of luck. But an air fryer, I'd be able to use that. We do have space under the counters a little bit, and obviously our upper cabinets are kind of useless for me. So we can store stuff in different places, but I do have a lot of counter space. It's just where my plugs are located. But nice, Kristen. Wow, Wes. 24 hours straight. We have sunny skies here. It's very bright out. But I have a lot of different crock pot meals that I make. My adobo chicken and sweet and sour kielbasa. God, I haven't had that in forever. A lot of different things that I make in the crock pot. Chicken breasts. I do chicken in the crock pot. Pork tenderloins. I actually would make that chicken that I told you about with the olive oil and the garlic powder. The potatoes and the baby carrots and everything. Mm-hmm. I could do that in the crock pot. I could cook those in the crock pot. It doesn't have to be oven baked, you know. So there you go, Papa. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Yep.
My son's double fryer is on a folding table. Unfortunately, it's too close to the oven for me to open the oven door all the way. He can maneuver stuff in and out of the oven. I can't. My trajectory with the wheelchair is not good, conductive for using the oven. Yeah, Victoria's auction starts in 30 minutes. Yeah, Susie, I used to use my crock pot all the time.
At one point, I had 2 crock pots, and I used them both on holidays, but would use one, on the regular. We still use one regularly, and then I also have one of those great big Nesco cookers for making the huge pots of whatever I need to make, or cooking the turkeys in, etc.
Yeah. I just want to be able to cook again. I mean, we have this huge counter, which my son has food all over. He didn't put anything away. He just lined it up on the counter like a dick, but and left stuff all over the kitchen table. Yeah, crockpot chili is good. I can't use the counter space for chopping anymore unless, I've got use of my leg and I'm wearing it at the time I'm cooking, but the chair fits perfectly at the kitchen table and I can chop stuff there and, be perfectly fine. So I still need to throw that diatomaceous earth all over the place, but I can't lift the bag and they have it in something under the cabinet, so there's no way for me to get it out. Of course, asking to have that done is ridiculous. It's a 5-pound bag of diatomaceous earth. Yeah, you can make all kinds of. You can make practically anything in the crock pot.
Mm-hmm. I pulled pork in there all the time, and barbecued pulled pork, barbecued beef.
Yep. And crock pot cooking is good for people like me who can't keep checking on something. You know, it's like there's no way I'd be able to well, not with this wheelchair, maybe the new one, but if you're cooking something like potatoes and you have to keep checking to see if they're done yet, you have to stay out there, and well, most people would be able to go and sit and watch TV and do whatever and then get up and go and check, and I can't do that. So being able to just throw everything in the crock pot and set it for whatever time it's supposed to set and have it bada bing, bada boom, you're good to go. You check it about halfway through, stir it if you need to, and then let it cook, and you're good.
Mm-hmm. I love crock pot meals.
And the fact that I have the rice cooker works too, because like if I make my adobo chicken or if I make my sweet and sour kielbasa, they both go over rice. Hey, Christy, was just talking about you. So, it's perfect because I can have the rice, as soon as the crock pot thing's done and do the rice, and 20 minutes later you have rice. Hello. And I won't have to keep checking on that, So. No, it was good stuff, Christy. I was talking about when you let me use the closed cache, and I was able to get stuff that I needed because we were talking about crock pot cooking and my rice cooker and stuff like that. My mom was like, "Well, you have it, but you don't use it," and I'm like, "Well, I haven't been able to cook yet, but it's there when I'm able to do it." And since my wheelchair is supposed to be here on the 21st of July, it's coming early. That might be happening, Mom.
That's great, Christy.
Yay, Christy. Oh, by the way, I had Victoria sing you happy birthday the other day. I had her sing it to you Monday. Same. Ugh. I'm glad you had a good birthday, Christy, and happy belated birthday. Yeah, my wheelchair is coming early, and I got the email Monday that it has already shipped and it is on its way, and I will get it the 21st. Oh, you heard it? Good. You're welcome. But yeah, I probably won't be able to get groceries and whatnot until August, because I won't have money then. But I'll be orienting my list more towards me being able to cook rather than him being able to cook. Yes, I will.
Well, at least when your chair gets here, you'll be able to cook and you'll be able to do the mom. This is what I would like to have so that I can, cook for myself better.
Yeah. You tried to stop her midway since. Yeah. Did you hear what happened to Victoria?
No.
Someone sent 3 different pizza delivery places to her house.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
And they didn't even pay the pizzas. It was pay when you get there. She's like, I didn't order any pizza. Yeah. And one of them had her childhood phone number. Another one had her last phone number or something. I'm like, she's like, how do these people get my address? I'm like, you can find anybody you just Google people and they can get your address. But yeah, I don't know who she pissed off or if they thought that was funny, but that's not funny.
No, it is
because not only is the pizza places losing money on those pizzas, but their delivery people aren't getting a tip.
Yeah, I know. And then also that can get her blackballed.
Yeah. So I told her that she should either call the pizza places or any place that she usually has deliver and give them a keyword
Mhm.
that it's only her. And she was like, well, I was gonna contact them all and say, look, unless it's prepaid, don't deliver it. I was like, yeah, but what if the off chance that you have cash, and you want to pay for it in cash? Then they're not gonna deliver your pizza. You'll have to go get it. But yeah, they did it to Donatella too. I don't know what the hell is wrong with people that they think that's funny. It's not. That's like people that used to have other people get swatted. They would call in
Oh
something
yeah,
that
she's
was,
lucky that it wasn't called in SWAT. Hello.
yeah, they call in and make it sound like you're some kind of terrorist and your house gets broken into by the SWAT team hitting you at all angles and you're like freaking out. Victoria would have had a damn heart attack. Hell,
Oh my
Baxter
god.
probably would have just died. He wouldn't have known, poor Baxter wouldn't have known what the hell to do. But yeah, I don't know why people ever think that's funny. It's not. I mean, you're taking police attention that other people could need and giving someone a fucking heart attack. It's not right. It can be deadly. You know, people are stupid.
Right, Papa? Oh my goodness. That's horrible.
That's not good. At least he got to open his door instead of having it get kicked in and having people come through the windows.
Yeah?
I mean, scariest thing that ever happened to me with cops was when I was living in my car and we were parked behind that magazine. I think I told you about it.
Yep.
And I woke up and there was a cop pointing a 9mm at my head. We had two cops on either side of the car, plus two in front and two in back, all with their guns aimed at us. That's not what you want to wake up to, ever. Ever. Well, no, Christy, but not necessarily that they would commit suicide by cop, but if you're not prepared for it and you make the wrong move, these police officers already have their adrenaline so pumped up that their brain could misinterpret something you do. Like you could just reach forward to grab the remote control to shut your TV off so you can pay attention to them, and their brain says you're reaching for a weapon and bang, and they shoot you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very dangerous for shit like that. And people that have not had to deal with police officers in any way don't understand. Just don't move. Just listen to their instructions. Do not move at all. And so they'll go and do something like that, or they'll do something stupid, like go to pick up their phone for some reason, because in this day and age, everybody has their phone attached to them, and that's like their lifeline. So the first thing they do is grab their phone. The cop only sees you reaching for something. They don't see what you're reaching for. They just see you moving suddenly, and bang. So, I moved very slowly when I woke up to those guns. I was like, ah. I mean, I had the blanket curled up under my hands because it was cold and my window was broken. And I, had my hands all curled up under the blanket, and I had to scoot the blanket down off of my hands with my toes so they could see my hands and saw that I wasn't concealing a weapon. It was not a fun day. Yeah, or take a photo when they see a flash, yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, when SWAT goes into a situation, they're pumped up. I mean, they're amped up big time, and anything can happen. Yeah. That would be my mother. That would probably happen to my mom. I mean, she almost had a heart attack, but she came out of her house, and there were four sheriff's department cars in front of her house in her nice, quiet, upper class neighborhood. Thanks to my daughter. Yeah, my mother was not happy that day at all. So.
Not keeping up appearances.
And of course, as soon as they left, everybody in the neighborhood was like, "What happened? What's going on? Is everything okay?" My mother was mortified, absolutely mortified. But my mom is also one of those kind of people that thinks that it's like cops are supposed to do what she says. her attitude is very privileged. When her and John called the cops on each other at my house one day, that was fun. I had 5 cruisers show up. Neighbors didn't like it because that was in the crack neighborhood, so they all had to shut down for a few hours. All over a Chihuahua. My mom, the police officer was like, ma'am, just go sit in your car and I'll talk to you in a minute. And she's like, she just kept talking and the cop was getting pissed. And I'm just sitting on my porch going, oh my God, if you put my mother in handcuffs, I am going to be in so much trouble, you know? And John was doing exactly what the cop, and they handcuffed John just because my mom said that he scratched her. John never scratched her. He didn't have any fingernails. It was the Chihuahua because my mom tried to grab the Chihuahua away from John, and he spun, and the Chihuahua's little claws caught my mother. I mean, it was 3 little scratches. They were tiny. And John's like, look at my nails, man. I don't even have nails. And they're like, well, you might have caught it on your watch. And John's like, I'm not wearing a watch. You know? And my mom, on the other hand, was trying to get that dog so bad, she actually tore John's tank top off his back. There was this huge rip in the back of it. I'm like, holy crap, Mom. I'm like, stop it. Because my mom assaulted John. John didn't just touch my mother. But my mother assaulted the shit out of that man. And he took it and just tried to walk away. And she wouldn't let him go. And I was just like, oh, this is going to be horribly wrong. This is so wrong. And my mom just kept trying to tell the cop, da-da-da-da. And he's like, ma'am, I will get to you in a minute. Now, like I said, John was complying with everything they said. He didn't argue with them. He just stood there. They's like, just for our own safety, you know, we're going to put you in cuffs. He goes, for your safety, she attacked me and you're handcuffing me? He goes, all right, whatever you want to do makes you feel better. And he put his hands behind his back, let him cuff him. He's very respectful of police officers, amazingly enough. And the police officer was finally like, ma'am, go sit in your car. And I'm like, oh. And she goes, well. And she goes stomping off to her car. I'm like, oh, my God. But my mom had money and has always had money.
So Karen.
Yeah, she is. she is. So they went and they talked to John. And then they talked to my mother. Their stories were very different. And then they came and talked to me. And I'm like, oh, why do I get put in the middle of this shit? One, my mother had no business being there. She should have never interfered in the entire situation. But because she did, that then put me in the middle because it was happening at my house. And so I told the cops exactly, I mean, in detail, everything that happened from the time John showed up at my house to the time they got there. I told them in detail everything that happened. And they're like, okay, and who are these people to you? And I'm like, oh, I was afraid you were going to ask me that. I was like, okay, John is my ex. He's my best friend. The dog was bought for him by my oldest daughter, and the woman in the car is my mother. And they were like, are you kidding me right now? I'm like, I swear to you. And they're like, and you're not taking your mother's side. I'm like, you wanted me to tell the truth, right? I'm like, why would I lie? I'm not going to lie. This is exactly what happened. I was like, my mom shouldn't be interfering in this at all. Because my daughter's over the age of 18 and she can do her own battles. This is ridiculous. And I actually finally talked John into just giving my mom the dog so she could return it to my daughter. But my mother just decided at that time, because I didn't lie and take her side in everything, that she was not going to take me to visit my son who was in foster care. So, yeah, that pissed me off. My mom was constantly, when I was a kid, because I lied a lot when I was a kid. It was the only way I could get to do anything. Susie, God. Cops got called to her house when her ex was yelling at the TV playing video games. If that happened here, the cops would be in my house every fucking night. I ended up calling my caseworker and telling her what happened, and I said, I want to see my son. I said, I have no way to get there because I don't have a vehicle, and my mom's refusing to take me to visits. And she goes, oh, I can do that. She goes, I'll have him picked up. I'll pick him up and bring him to you. I'm like, thank you. Because my caseworker did not want to deal with my attorney. So, yeah. But that's, I mean, when my mom doesn't get her way, she gets kind of vindictive, you know? But when I was a kid, they were constantly telling me to stop lying and tell the truth. And then I grow up and I have this whole thing about not lying. It's one of my biggest pet peeves is to be called a liar because I don't lie. And my mom was mad at me because I did not lie. I'm like, okay, this is a contradiction in messages here. After a few weeks, she was like, fine, I'll take you to see him. I'm like, you don't need to. I'm like, he's coming to see me. I fixed it. Damn, Susie, that's ridiculous. That's like whenever the cops showed up for John. I mean, they'd run his record and find out he'd been in prison and that he had a gun charge. And like no less than 3 cruisers would show up anytime the cops got called on John, including when he called on himself, which was most of the time. I only ever called the cops on him once, and he deserved it. And then your daughter had, you know, yeah, my neighbors all know that my son games, so they don't call on him. They know what he's doing. But I can tell you, John and Issa used to scream and just go at each other, and cops never showed up here. This neighborhood doesn't call the cops on anyone because everybody's up to something. So the cops, nope. The only time the cops got called was when the guy down the street tried to kill people. He was walking into everybody's houses and pointing a gun at them. He tried shooting one woman in the head. Luckily, the gun jammed, and she was able to get away from him. But he pistol whipped his father and put his father in the hospital. And he actually fired at a woman that was on her porch, hearing all the commotion, going outside, seeing what was going on. He shot at her. Luckily, he missed. But the cops got called then, and they got called a couple of times for other stuff at that end of the street. And then they got called on past the intersection where the meth dealers were. The cops were there a lot, but they moved out, so the cops haven't been up there. Because I can see up the street. I can see when there are flashing lights and stuff. So.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Your story and the story I'm reading in chat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I am. I mean, in my mom's neighborhood, cops would have been at the house every single day for any of the ruckuses that have happened in this house. Whether it was real or gaming, they would have been here. But in this neighborhood, nope. Yeah. Well, my neighbors will ask me, hey, was your son gaming last night? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, okay, that's what we heard. I'm like, yeah. And they knew that when Jason and Jill were here, they knew that Jason beat the shit out of Jill, but they also knew that both Jason and Jill were racist little bastards, so they didn't care if they killed each other, you know? Sad, but true. They were all real happy when my son tore down those Confederate flags and shoved them in the trash can outside. So glad those little assholes are gone.
Hey, Simmy, you're busy trying to scratchy back there, I bet.
Yeah, she is. Poor baby.
No, people wouldn't believe it.
Yeah, the books need a happy ending. I do not have one. Life and Times of Kodi. It would be entitled, I couldn't make this shit up if I tried.
Hello, Iris.
Hey, Iris. Well, when the cops got called to my mom's house, it was because my daughter had told somebody in New York, a man in New York that she was talking to, a 32-year-old man, she was 14, that she was going to kill herself if he stopped talking to her. So he called the New York police, whatever. I don't know if he was in New York City or if it was state. I have no idea. I never contacted that one. Hey, Iris. Bloop. Hi. He contacted police in New York, who did an ISP search, contacted the state troopers here, who contacted the sheriff's department in Anderson, who showed up at my mom's house. They said before they could leave, because my mom wanted them gone quickly, they said before they could leave, they had to search her room for sharp objects and anything that she could use to kill herself. So they did find things. They found a protractor and a razor blade, and because my daughter was cutting herself, but she was cutting herself in places that people would see it. It was an attention thing, not an actual mental disorder type of thing. My kid had issues, which in itself, I suppose, is a disorder, but yeah. So then they told my mother was furious. Desiree's in there threatening to run away and da-da-da-da. She's like, you can't touch that. That's mine. And he's like, it belongs to your grandmother. And she's like, no, it's mine. She gave it to me. He goes, unless you have a receipt, it still belongs to her. And proceeded to tell my mother exactly what she could do, which was take everything out of my daughter's room and leave her with 7 outfits plus a spare and her toiletries. And that's all she's entitled to. And I'm like, oh, shit. And her bed, of course, stuff like that. But yeah. They said unless she has a receipt to prove she paid for it, she's not entitled to it.
I remember the punishment I got when I was 11. I had everything taken away except my bed frame, my mattress, and the clothes on my back. To this day, I don't remember what I did. Couldn't have been that bad. I was 11.
I did that to my kids. Took everything away except for their mattresses. Put their mattresses on the floor.
Well, I want to say by technical social service standards here in South Carolina, children have to be provided with at least 7 outfits of clothes, 1 for each day, plus a spare in case something happens, depending on their age, I guess. They have to be provided with 3 nutritious meals a day and liquids, of course, so they don't dehydrate, plus their beds and their toiletries, like toothbrush, toothpaste. Deodorant is good, you know. So that's all they're entitled to legally. A friend of mine, her long time ago, I lost touch with this woman, but her older daughter, who was 16 at the time, she was sending her to lunch with packed lunches because she couldn't afford to let her buy lunch at school. And she'd always have, she'd ask her what she wanted for lunch. The girl would tell her, and she'd always make sure there was an apple or some kind of fruit in there. The girl was throwing her lunch out the freaking school bus window and then going to school and telling them that she wasn't given a lunch. So after about a week of this, social services showed up and they were like, you need to feed your kid. And she's like, what are you talking about? And she's like, this is what I packed for her. And, she went, because she still had, I think it was like chicken salad or something. And, she put it in like a cooler bag type, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And had the little cooler thing in it so the tuna wouldn't go bad and all that. She's like, I packed this for her. She's like, what are you talking about? And she goes, well, she went to school. She's been going to school all week and saying she didn't have lunch. And the girl was like, what the fuck? And she was pissed. So that's when she was told what the girl was entitled to. And so she would call the school every day and say, this is what I'm packing her for lunch. And she started taking pictures of the school lunches that she was sending with her so she couldn't just throw them out the window.
That's reasonable.
I mean, craziness, kids, all because the girl wanted to buy lunch just like her friends did. I'm like, look, at least take it to school and trade it or something, There are plenty of kids that would be grateful for a fucking apple.
A lot of times I would have been grateful for an apple.
Yeah.
Apples are good.
They are. I miss being able to eat apples.
Yeah, I know.
I feel like the guy from Pirates of the Caribbean, the first one, where all he wanted to do was eat an apple before he died.
Captain Barbosa.
Barbosa, yep. Yeah. But I could write a book because you always make up a happy ending, marry a rich man. Yeah, that'd be nice, right? I've done the guy be with a poor guy because love. I've done that a couple of times. It has not worked out really well for me. So yeah, I'd have no problem with marrying a rich guy and just having sugar daddy. Just buy me what I want, and I'll be nice to you. I don't.
I know people who have done that. They've done that, like married for love, etc., etc. And that marriage ended because
I'd rather
the
earn my
spouse
own
died.
shit than I don't have to depend on a guy.
Hey, I'd be earning it. Trust me. I would be blessing them with my presence. That is earning it.
I have a very, very good one that yeah.
But yeah,
I don't want to put personal business across the internet.
No, you don't have to.
But yeah,
I don't have a problem with putting my personal business, but it's not for everybody. Don't feel that you have to, because I would never push anybody to do that.
But yeah, their spouse died, and then so they married again later on down the road. And while they did care for the person that they married, they did marry for money.
Yeah.
Well, that's actually a reasonable thing to think about when someone has little skills and they think about their future. And
did you just say I have little skills?
No. I said when someone has little skills.
And
they're like 16, they have little skills. First thing they think they're going to do is marry for money.
Welcome to the South.
I was 16 and I would have been happy to marry for money. Just my daddy would have shot the guy in the balls.
There are so many girls. When I was working Walmart loss prevention, I was walking around Walmart all day. The measures that these kids would go through, these little girls would go through to catch guys' attention. Always older men. Hey, Susie. Okay. Always older men. You know what I mean? And I'm like, stop it. And the men would pay attention. I'm like, look, you pedophile. They're like 12. Go away. Walk on. You know what I mean? I'm like, unbelievable. Yeah, the lunch thing. I never did. Of course, I worked in the cafeteria when I was in junior high. I worked in the cafeteria, and I got free lunches. So
I got free lunch anyway.
And when I was in high school, our lunches didn't really cost that much. So, they were like $1 or something. My mom would give me.
I think the most mine cost were $2. And that was when I was a senior.
And I was always nice to lunch ladies, so they'd give me an extra dessert and an extra milk or whatever. And I'd be like, thank you. But our milks cost 10 cents. So
lunch ladies were cool people. They had the food.
And they got made fun of so much, and it's when the food was crappy, it wasn't their fault. That's what they were given to make, it all comes in bulk.
And what they're given to serve, yeah. One school district I went to, they started out with a kitchen at school. That's when they had really good food. The kitchen was at the school. You could you lined up, you had breakfast at 6 a.m.
Yeah, our school didn't have lunch or
breakfast.
Then
then they saved money. They changed to a centralized kitchen. Then the breakfast was all cold milk and cold cereal and milk.
My school didn't serve breakfast. That was not a thing in my school.
The only reason they did is they had funding to do it specifically for it.
Nobody in my town needed funding to do that. I lived in a very affluent town, so.
My family didn't.
Even the poor sections of my town weren't poor comparatively to what I have dealt with since I turned 18. So. I mean, I got an apartment. When I was 18, I got an apartment in the poor part of town. It cost me $600, and it was a one-bedroom apartment that had the porch enclosed to make another bedroom. It was not insulated, and I did not take that apartment. I did not take that room. That was my roommate's room. She was fucking like a bunny, everything that moved. She didn't need heat. You know, she always had a bed warmer, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I took the bedroom that had the heater. I'm like, But yeah, $600 back in 1987.
That was a lot.
A lot. So, and that was the cheapest one I could find in my town or in any surrounding towns. I did not go to the city because I wanted to stay. We both wanted to stay where our friends were. So, yeah. And it was on the second floor. That sucked. And it was like a straight shot stairs. Ugh. Although I did throw somebody down those stairs once, so the straight shot came in handy. He was a dick. Don't fuck with me in my house. I'm just saying. But yeah, so now that apartment would probably be $2,500 a month. You know, because when I lived in that town, it was before all the computer places moved in and all the computer people moved in. We did have a lot of techie people that lived there, but they went to surrounding places, to businesses and stuff. But then we had the observatory was there. Have you ever seen the movie Numbers? When they show the big ball for the telescope and everything, and it says Westford, Massachusetts? That's the town I grew up in. We're famous for 5 seconds on a movie with Nicolas Cage. Woohoo! So, yeah. I mean, now I would like living in that town because it's very quiet and there's no real... I mean, there was nothing to do when I was a kid. For now I would like that. Very quiet, rural, trees, it's nice. But back when I was a kid, it was so fucking boring. That's why everybody was always high, drunk, or having sex.
Sounds like Wendover, Nevada. 3 things to do in town: drink, gamble, and have sex. And if you're under 21, there's only one thing to do. They had a lot of teenage mothers in that town. They blamed it on the water.
I spent a lot of my high school life drunk, so being under 21 had nothing to do with it in my town. Where there's a will, there's a way.
I was lucky when I moved to Wendover. I was already 21.
I was a very wicked child. I was never got caught.
You're not supposed to get caught.
See, that was back in the fun days when there was no, phone cameras and...
Yeah, back when cell phones was in a bag when they were or a brick.
We didn't have, there weren't any, there were car phones, there were no cell phones. Well,
back when a cell phone contract took the kind of credit you needed to buy a house.
Yep.
And it was inconceivable to give one to your kid.
The only cell phones they had were military and carried them on their back. I mean, we had car phones because when I was living in my car, there was car phones everywhere, but no cell phones because you had to do the beepers first and then the cell phones.
Well, we still had pagers in the 80s, but we also had the bag phones and the brick.
I never saw any of those.
I mean,
taxi cabs usually had a bag phone.
Well, I never took cabs. We didn't have cabs in my town. We didn't have buses. We didn't have cabs. If you couldn't get there on your own, you're screwed. You had to be in the city, 15 minutes away to cab anywhere. So, yeah, it was... I mean, and now, like, the house that I grew up in, my parents, what did they sell it for? When they bought it, it was $30,000. And that was in the end of 69 or beginning of 70. And they sold it for close to $500,000. And that was in, I want to say 95 or 96. Now I looked that thing up, and the last time it sold, it went for $1.5 million. The house I grew up in.
Both of the houses that I grew up in no longer exist.
And it's one of the cheaper houses on the street because I checked some of the other ones. The one with the pool, there was one house on our street that had an in-ground pool, and that one went for $2.6 million. And other houses that were bigger, of course, on my street went between 1.5 and 2. So yeah, and that's just on my little dead end street. There were houses that I used to look at when we drive around that I remember generally where they were. So I was looking on the Zillow map for where they were, and some of those houses are $3-4 million. And I'm like, holy crap, I'm like, shit. It's crazy. And people are like, move back to Mass. Sure. I cannot afford in any way to live in Massachusetts. Mm-mm.
Massachusetts?
Yeah, Massachusetts. What's funny is that there's more taxes in South Carolina than there are in Massachusetts. Because in Massachusetts, there was no tax when I was growing up. There was no tax on clothes or food.
Nevada has no tax on food unless you're buying it at a restaurant.
Yeah, unless it's pre-cooked type of thing, like a hot meal, like the rotisserie chickens and stuff that you can get.
Yeah, stuff from the things you can buy on food stamps are tax-free anyway.
Yeah. And you can't buy pre-made food like rotisserie chickens or
hot stuff. Yeah, hot stuff to be eaten in the store. Yeah.
But here, clothes is taxed. You pay tax on clothing. But see, where I lived was really close to New Hampshire. So we just went to New Hampshire because there's no tax on anything in New Hampshire. But New Hampshire property taxes are high. So their rents are reasonable, but their property taxes are high. They all find a way to balance it out somehow. Oh, that just made me tear up. That sucked. You can what in Ohio? Be more specific, Kristen. No shit, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you can buy pre-made like hot food, like when the deli makes like chicken strips and all that. You can buy that.
I couldn't not on food stamps.
Yeah, not on food stamps. It's against federal to be able to do that.
Used to be once upon a time. I was like 9. This one restaurant actually took food stamps. And we could buy an Italian sandwich with them.
Now, with sandwiches and stuff...
I haven't had an Italian since I was 16.
With sandwiches at the supermarkets and whatnot, if it's already got the barcode on it, it's cold, you can buy those as food stamps. But if it's hot, you cannot.
And depending on the barcode, whether you can buy it or not, too.
You see this?
Oh, hello, Puppo. Give him a pet for me, please.
The baby.
Yeah, sometimes I'm...
All right, go ahead. Go ahead. She was asking my permission to get a drink of water. And of course, she'll drink until it's gone, or she throws up. So come on, enough. What'd I say? Come on. She drinks so loud she doesn't hear me when I tell her to stop. I just heard my front door open.
And she's gonna go investigate.
No, she's on my bed. She can't get to the front door because my doors are closed, as the other dogs.
Yeah, nobody's ever asked me about the picture I used for my avatar.
Okay.
I made that, it's a sectional couch for a Barbie doll.
Oh, okay.
I think I sold it for like $25.
Nice.
Within an hour of posting it, I didn't even post it. I just showed it off to somebody, and they're like, "How much is it?" And I was like, $25. I'm like, okay.
Susanna, I love you, but I'm doing it live. Oh, okay. Susanna is doing the swap meet. I guess Paul is still not feeling well. So in about 42 minutes, probably about around the time that I'll be ending this, swap meet is out on Susanna's channel. The auction going on. So since she sent me the link, I will share it with you guys. That's for the swap meet.
I've got a bunch of jewelry to get sold for my sister's rent. Whether she actually uses it for that or not, I don't know, but that's what she told me she needed.
Yeah, it's kind of rude to give her money for rent if she doesn't use it for rent, you know?
Well, it's either she uses it for rent or she uses it to move to Missouri because she can't pay her rent.
Yeah. Self-publish a book on Amazon. Oh my god. If I was going to do that, it would not be fit for children, and it wouldn't be anything to do, well, it might be parts of my life, but I wouldn't be using my own name. And it wouldn't be anything I need to fact check, so. When the book is so good, the neighbors light a cigarette, you know you wrote it right. I don't need to write a book. You guys all hear about my life on here. Hang around, you'll hear everything eventually. Nice. But what is the book about, Christy? What's your friend's book about? Make it a series. It would just be a jumble of random stories unless I, you know. You know that shit would be like literal porn, right? If I was going to write a book. I mean, otherwise it's just random stories that I think of in my head at the time.
No, but with porn, it wouldn't be published on Amazon.
Yes, it would.
What?
What do you think I've been reading? Hey, Brad. I'm sure you wrote a picture book, Brad. It's called erotica. It's not called porn. It's called erotica because that's how you get away with it. And it's very sexually explicit writing. And there's no shame in my game. I read what I like. So I figure if I can't actually do it, I might as well read about it.
I actually like erotica better than porn because you're getting in the characters' heads.
Yeah, I don't care about what's in your head.
Porn, you're just watching people. Yeah.
No, this is word porn. It's written. So, you know, as long as you have good visualization skills, you're all set. How are you, Brad? Behaving yourself? I'm guessing no, but I figured I'd ask.
What's the fun in behaving?
No, Brad, that's called porn. That's called porn. No, like, ooh. She's German. A childhood friend of hers got murdered. It was covered up. She watched Murder, She Wrote to get ideas to spice it up. She used a fictitious name. Oh, I love Murder, She Wrote. I absolutely adore Angela Lansbury, and I watched that show like religiously, consistently. It was on Amazon Prime, and I just watched season 1 through, I think they had up to season 5 or 6, and then I'd start over again. You can actually watch the evolution of the cell phone through Murder, She Wrote. If you watch every episode, it starts off, you're seeing payphones and corded phones and all that, and then all of a sudden you've got cordless phones, and then you've got the big block fucking cell phones, and all the way down to, you know, the little flip phones and stuff. It's pretty cool. Just to let you know. You can watch phone evolution through Murder, She Wrote.
See how many people don't even know what a payphone looks like.
Yeah.
Or the answering machine. Or a typewriter.
Yeah.
And this is the crap we grew up with.
He went to his corner and never came out, Papa. He got stuck. Key Lime, how are you?
Howdy, howdy. I snuck in to hang out. And Kodi let me.
Yeah. Have you been, Key Lime? What's new?
And there's Papa Smurf. Hello, Papa Smurf. And Key Lime. And Kristen.
Notice Brad didn't answer whether he was behaving or not. It's 'cause he's not.
There's Brad.
He never behaves. Brad is so naughty.
Behaving is no fun. But then you
It's
get
done.
arrested when you get caught, so you just gotta be careful not to get caught.
Yeah. Issa, John's wife, well, now his widow, once told me it's not illegal unless you get caught. I'm like, excuse me? I'm like, so if you're breaking a law, it's not actually breaking the law unless you get caught. She goes, right. I'm like, no. I'm like, that's not how it works. You're still doing something illegal. She goes, no, I'm not. I'm like, yes. Yes, you are. The stupidity on this woman is amazing. I'm like, what? Yeah, because she was driving illegally. And I was like, be careful, you driving illegally with your kid in the car. You can get in big trouble for that, and DSS will get involved. And she goes, it's not illegal unless you get caught. I'm like, what?
I haven't had a driver's license since 2000.
Oh, no, Key Lime. I'm going to put that down now. I'm sorry. Putting the views down. That sucks.
And the only time I got pulled over was when I rear-ended somebody's RV and I actually had a driver's license at the time.
I got pulled over for attached plates. That was fun. They arrest you for that here.
Attached plates?
Yeah, well, I was transferring vehicles and I hadn't gotten to the DMV yet because I was working, and I was on my way to work at Walmart, and I got pulled over by this adorable little chubby-cheeked officer, and his name was actually Cheeks. It was all I could do not to die laughing. I was just like, He was very nice and handcuffed me in front, and before he handcuffed me, I'm like, do you want to use yours or mine? And he's like, I'm sorry, what? I was like, well, I have handcuffs in my back pocket. He goes, why? I'm like, because I work Walmart loss prevention. He goes, oh, really? I'm like, yeah. And he goes, you on your way to work? I'm like, I was until I was delayed. He goes, no, we need to take those out of your pocket. I'm like, okay. So I took them out of my pocket. I handed it to them. He goes, oh, these are nice. I'm like, yes, you can't have them. He goes, damn. Everybody wanted my handcuffs. They were gunmetal gray Smith & Wessons. They were awesome. And then he's sitting there and he handcuffs me. And I was like, Officer Cheeks. He's like, yeah. I was like, do you want my handcuff key too? He goes, it would probably be a good idea if I took that. I'm like, yeah, they're on my key ring. Just take the whole key ring. I'm like, because he handed me my keys, and I'm like, you realize I can now get out of these handcuffs. I'm like, since I don't want to get shot by taking the handcuffs off, and I will not be able to resist the temptation, you might want to take my handcuff keys. Like, okay. Now, what scared me more than anything was going in, and during booking, they asked me, have I ever had sex with a farm animal? I'm like, please tell me that's a joke. He goes, no, it's not a joke. It's on the questionnaire. I'm like, okay, my answer is no, and I will add, please don't put me in a cell with anybody who has answered yes to that question. Because, ew! They were all laughing. I never ended up getting in a cell. But, yeah, it was not a fun experience. I was not happy, and the fact that they asked that question here makes me not want to socialize with anyone in this town, okay? Yeah, I don't know. Oh,
I'm
okay,
still
good.
petrified.
People
Every
are
time she
more
tells that story.
fun than farm animals.
I'm like, what? I'm like, okay, who's running around jumping on cows?
Excuse me, I'm going to mute. There's a guy outside my window with a leaf blower.
Okay. Yeah, key lime, I don't know why, but I didn't want to know. I just didn't want to be near anybody that answered yes to that question because that's creepy. No, thank you. So, yeah. But then that was the time I got the hard time because of my last name, because apparently the night before there had been a man in there that got arrested for drunk and disorderly, and he was giving the cops all kinds of problems, same last name as me. And he slapped a female officer and he spit on another cop, and the judge was like, screw her, it's probably his wife, let her sit in a cell. And I'm like, I'm not related to anybody here in this state. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Yeah, it turns out it was the guy that sold me the truck that I had just sold and used the plates, because I wasn't aware at the time that you couldn't just attach the plates that you were going to be using on the vehicle. So, but yeah, when I bought my little pickup truck here, we were like, oh, your last name's the same as mine. Yeah, it turns out the same guy. But I wasn't related to him, and I was like, look, my husband's in Massachusetts, probably drunk and disorderly, but still not in this state. And so the judge deigned to see me and then PR'd me. So not the best experience here. No.
Gina, honestly, I don't know who made that list up or why in the world it would need to be a question, but I have read some god-awful stories in the news, whether it be worldwide or even local. Scares me.
There are people that do have sex with farm animals. I just don't understand why it would pertain to anybody in jail. Now, once you're
Unless they're trying to bust you for something, I don't know.
Yeah. Once you're in the jail system, like if you get convicted and you go to the county lockup, they do have a work release program that worked. I don't know if they still do it, but they worked at the animal shelter. So that might be something that would pertain to that. But as far as I know, they didn't have a work release program that worked on farms. So I don't know. But to ask, it's just really weird. I'm like, okay, weird.
Creepy.
But yeah, very creepy. I'm like, no.
Mm-mm. You guys remember the game's categories?
Yes.
Yeah.
The commercial I remember for the game's categories, the guy was taking the game home because they wouldn't let him use rhinoceros as a farm animal.
Because it's not a farm animal.
It's categories, it doesn't matter whether it actually is or not. You just had to have a different answer than anyone else.
But if it's a topic, then it would have to fit in that topic.
Not according to the game.
Well, then why did it bother
You just had
having...
to have a different answer that started with a particular letter.
Then that game is fucked up, and they shouldn't even have categories. Because rules are rules, and if you have a category, you have to fit in the category.
Well, we have ostrich farms. Why isn't there a rhinoceros farm?
That I think is the point.
Because they don't have rhinoceros meat farms. Yet they do have ostrich meat, and they have ostrich eggs that they farm.
Yeah, we have the games categories, and oh my God, some of the things that we have come up with over the years with our children playing the game.
But I'm the kind of
I
person
have to look at them and I go, because Mom's out of the loop, so she has to go, what the hell does that mean? Yeah.
But I mean, I'm the kind of person, if I'm playing a game and it's a category like farm animals, then the answers have to be farm animals. You can't just,
It just has to be something that matches that letter.
But then it shouldn't be in a category then.
Like the rhinoceros as a farm animal because it started with R.
But that doesn't make it that rule is fucked up. I wouldn't be able to play that game with anybody. I'd be throwing shit at people.
I can't play games with you, Kodi, so we're good.
Fuck off. It doesn't make sense to me. You have a category that's farm animals, so therefore all the animals that you list should be farm animals, not just any random animal that has the letter, because then it's just name animals with this letter.
An animal that you'd find on a farm
is not a rhinoceros.
Well, if you live in Africa, you never know.
Yeah, I do. They have rhinoceros. They have wildlife preserves, but that's not a farm. What do you mean people can't play games with me? What games can't people play with me besides that fucked up game? You have a rhino farm up the street, Keyline? What?
That's what I was reading. Because we have a rhino farm right up the street. Okay.
You have a rhino farm? Like they process meat and shit from rhinos?
Bullshitting, she says. Okay.
Auctions are already going, yeah.
Keyline. Gina? Bad.
I've got a whole bin of jewelry underneath my chair right now that if I sold it all, I'd have a couple $3,000. And that's at the prices my mother wanted for them.
Doesn't necessarily mean that's what you'll get for them, but this isn't an auction. If you want to sell them, you actually have to go auction them.
I know. That's why I'm not showing them off. I'm sitting here yakking. If I wanted to go to an auction, I'd go to an auction. Me broke, damn it. Me want to hang out with other broke people. That way we can all bitch about being broke together.
Oh, you did get your sheep. Cool. What was it? What was the other things you were going to get, Christy?
So the baby ducks. Do you still have baby ducks?
Baby ducks. Baby ducks are cute.
Speaking of which, my last auction I just sent my last package out.
Cool.
Oh, did you finally get all the
I've got one guy that never contacted me, so I'm gonna resell his item.
There you go.
It's been a week. You'd think he'd pay for it by now.
Did you send him a reminder?
Yep.
Oh well, they're out luck.
Yep.
And yet there are a lot of auctions that start early.
Oh, the pygmy goats. I was gonna get pygmy goats when I moved here, when we had our property in the woods, because we didn't have a lawnmower. So I was like, I want to get pygmy goats, and that way they can trim our lawn, right? And then I found out all the regulations and all of the things you have to have pygmy goats, and I was like, never mind. I'd rather save up the money for a lawnmower, because you have to have their housing has to be so far up off the ground. They have to be completely enclosed because of coyotes and da-da-da. I'm like, bobcats, that kind of thing. Uh-huh. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, mm-mm. Yeah, veining goats are so funny.
No, it's like having regulations as to how you have to have your housing for children.
Yep. Oh, it's worse for chickens. If you want to have chickens in the city here, You have to get your neighbor's permission on all sides that your property touches. And
No, I was talking children, not chickens.
I know.
Please, if I had to have permission to have children, that would have been a better bet.
I know, right?
Because believe me, if anybody around me had to have permission to have children, they would be a stern no.
No, you have to have permission from all the properties that touch your property. You have to have the whole thing completely enclosed, like with a dog kennel type of thing, including the top of it.
Well, yeah.
It has to be certain size, but not bigger or smaller.
Sounds like what my brother-in-law had for his chickens.
The chicken coop has to be certain regulations, set up a certain way. You can only have up to 3 female, 3 hens, no roosters in city limits.
Well, roosters are A, mean, and B, loud as fuck.
Well, they didn't want breeding because you can only have 3 chickens. So if the eggs were getting fertilized, you'd have more than 3 chickens.
I think my brother-in-law had 6, and they had more eggs than they knew what to do with.
Because I wanted to get chickens, and 3 chickens was fine for me, but I'm glad that we didn't, because at this point, I mean, the neighbors probably wouldn't have cared because they would have been getting free eggs, but you also have to pay a fee every year and get a license for your chickens and all this crap. And I'm like, at this point, there'd be nobody to take care of them, so they'd have all died anyway. So it worked out well that I did not get chickens.
On the street that I used to live on here in town when I was a kid, there was a family that they had chickens and whatnot down the way. But since then, the family that had them, they've either passed on or moved or whatever, way back when. But to the best of my knowledge, there are no longer any farm animals in town other than some horses, and they are properly taken care of.
When we lived in Crackville, the Mexican people that, I don't know if it was a couple of family or I don't know, but I just saw a lot of Mexicans coming in and out of the trailer, but they lived right across from the crack dealers, and they had chickens, and the chickens lived under their house, and they would put them in their trunk of their car when they wanted to take them somewhere. And one of them freaked John out one day because he walked down the street to go get cigarettes, and there was one of their chickens was in a tree, and he's like, he comes home and his eyes are all bugged out. I'm like, what is wrong with you? He goes, there's a chicken in the tree down the street. I'm like, okay. He goes, how the fuck did it get in the tree? I'm like, they can fly a little bit. He goes, chickens can't fly. I'm like, oh. So I had to pull up videos. Of course they can fly.
That's why they have wings.
I had to pull up videos and show them that chickens can fly to a certain extent, and they can glide, but they usually just flop because they're not used to it. But yeah, chickens can get up in a tree. But he was all freaked out until they showed him the videos. He goes, oh, okay.
Christy, honestly, I don't blame him.
My brother-in-law's chickens used to climb. Here I am watching how the heck they do that, and then I'm just watching it out the windows. They're climbing.
A little mini cow would be cute.
You're looking on top of a 3-story house. And they climbed up there.
No piggies, no goats. I'm good. I'm not that person.
The uncle that tried to kill my aunt, his sister had goats, and they were really friendly. From the out, like I was on the outside of their pen. I didn't go inside, but I used to talk to them because I'd make the goat noises and they make it back. And I don't know what I was saying, but apparently they liked it because they kept talking back to me, and then they'd come and like rub up on my hands and everything. So. Yeah, I don't have a problem with goats. Although I have no real use for a goat. I mean, I don't do anything with goat milk. So, and that's really, unless you're going to eat them, that's really the only other use for goats that there is. So, I wanted to sorry, go ahead.
4th time's charm. Tim's sibling has goats. I don't know what she does with them other than maybe pets, but because I don't talk to her about like I don't talk to his mother. So I know that she has them because he's shown me photos and
Yeah.
talked about them. She lives in Oklahoma somewhere close to Jason and hot sauce. Past that, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Christian, that's why I wanted the little pygmy goats, but I was going to get 2 of them. The kids each wanted one, so I was going to get them each a goat. And I mean, I had a hookup for them and everything at work, but there was just too much work to go into. I mean, John could have made their shelter for them, but it had to be so many inches off the ground for, so that they wouldn't be in standing water if it rained and da-da. And he could have made it, but we had already fenced in the whole front yard for the dogs. So then I was going to have to do another thing for the goats, and it was just too much, plus you have to give them all the shots, and plus their food, because they can't they could just live on grass, but it's better to supplement them with another kind of feed. But
yeah.
And storing that food so animals can get into it, it was too much, But I did want to get chickens because I wanted fresh eggs, so I wouldn't have to buy eggs. But
did you say that?
You did say that. Yes, you did. The ducks are good though. I like the baby ducks. Those are cute.
Oh,
Little ducklings.
I love ducks.
Wow.
Polyface farm free range. Yeah. We can't do free range up here or over here, down here, whatever. There's too many. I mean, when I lived in the woods, we had coyotes, we had bobcats. I mean, and if they range on someone else's property in here, they're dinner. So, everything would have to be enclosed somehow. Even if it was the entire yard and part of the woods or something that was enclosed.
Hawks, eagles, coyotes, snakes, spiders. There were so many predators up in the area where my parents had their property. And the little neighbor down the hill had chickens. And his mother started blaming us. My parents had a dog pack. They started blaming us when they had to build a coop for their chickens. The enclosed one with the top on it and everything. Not thinking about everything else that was out there besides my parents' dogs. Now the dogs are gone. I wonder who they're blaming for the chickens getting attacked.
My friend in North Carolina has chickens, and hers were free range, but she has lost quite a few of them, and she's gotten chicks, and her chickens have fertilized, and they've hatched, and she's lost chicks, and it's always because they're an outside animal.
I said we live in town, and I've seen red foxes, I've seen coyotes. Mm-hmm. I mean,
we have foxes here.
I live in town, so anything's possible. So you don't have to be rural to have prey animals.
She was actually going to get a donkey because donkeys will protect other animals, but they tend to have an issue, I guess, with sheep. But a donkey will protect your chickens from bobcats and coyote and shit like that. Donkey will stomp the shit out of a coyote. Donkey. Yeah. But then her dad got sick, and her husband tried stealing all her money, and she's finally rid of him, thank God. She's very happy with the person she's with now, so yay! But yeah, when I was the first people that I lived with in Florida, their next door neighbor, there was a big fence around their property, and there was constantly with dirt bikes and 4-wheelers and everything back there, but they had chickens. My dog, Simi had never met a chicken. So she met them through the fence. It was a privacy fence. It was like the wood, but she could see the chickens through the fence. Whoop, Tina fell out. And Simi used to run back and forth on the fence, and you could hear the chickens on the other side, like all on the other side. But they used to bring us over eggs, and those eggs were so good. I was like, oh my God. I mean, as soon as they brought them in, I'd run some off and start making eggs. I don't know why they brought them over in a bag, like a Walmart bag. I'm like, because like half of them were broken by the time they got over to the house, but they, yeah, they were really good.
Gary's eggs were always really good.
Why are they looking for it, Kristen? Just leave it alone. Big thing with my growing up was woodchucks and bunnies. Those were the big things because my parents had a vegetable garden. So woodchucks and bunnies were the enemy. Not my enemy. I'm like, let them eat them, you know? But yeah, Kristen, so just leave it alone. Chrissy, have your fridge's eggs? I imagine so. I would imagine so. You should take some of them to the farmer's market and sell those suckers. Oh, they're trying to relocate it. Apparently it does not want to be relocated.
$100.
I mean, if I could get down on my farmer's market, I would consider buying eggs down there because there are people that will go to the farmer's market and sell eggs. The problem is a lot of the times they want more for them than what you pay in the store, and given my budget, I can't afford, you know, because they're like, oh, they're organic and they're farm fresh, and we want $5 a carton. And I'm like, yeah, that's not happening. Oh, too many egg sellers, yeah. Well, if I lived closer, I would take some off you, Christy.
Last time I bought eggs, I spent $8 for 5 dozen.
Mm.
And I thought that would cost the moon.
Yeah. I'm reading something. I'll be right there. Hmm. You go, Wes. Sorry, Wes messaged me. I was distracted. Oh, Iowa gives vouchers for farm fresh food. That's nice. I can't get anywhere. I mean, our farmer's market, if you want to get anything good, and they do have some really good things down there, is you have to be there at like 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, and without a vehicle or anybody that can get me there, I can't go. So, absolutely fresh.
If I was closer to you, I'd get to go with you.
Absolutely fresh things are not on my purview. I'm lucky if I am able to order them from like Walmart and have them picked up, you know, like my mom picks my groceries up. That's just, if I got fresh, I right now can't cook it, so it doesn't do me any good to get anything fresh. But
Fresh stuff, you either use it quick or it dies.
I know. That's why I don't ask for it when I do grocery orders, because it wouldn't get used.
And as hot as it's been where I'm at, and it died before it ever got home. Even calling a taxi, you're sitting outside for half an hour waiting for the cab to show up,
Yeah.
and by the time you get home, whatever's fresh died.
Oh, Christy, that's nice. You should see if there is, Christy, are there any bakeries in your area that actually bake in-house? Because you might be able to work out a deal with a bakery to sell your eggs to them so that they can advertise that they're using local eggs, if they don't already. Just saying. It's an idea. I don't know if we have any around here, so. But it's good that you donate to Women's Safe House. That's sweet. You are such a sweet person, Christy. You really are. I'm so looking forward to Saturday.
I'm looking forward to Friday because of that marathon auction, and Sunday because it's bag day at my local book sale. You pay $5 and they give you a Walmart bag which you fill up with books.
I'm looking forward to Saturday because I have packages coming Saturday. Packages. I don't think I'm pretty sure my son's not working, but he hasn't said anything about food. Oh. Got about 9 minutes left, and then I'm going to end this. Tina, what happened to you? Where'd you go? She might have lost the internet.
It always sucks.
Yeah.
When the drivers for the internet go out, and when the drivers for the Wi-Fi go out on the computer because the operating system doesn't update.
Okay.
So I bought an Ethernet cord and plugged
She
in.
ran away. Maybe. Well, I know her dad was at her house, so she might have had to go. It's okay. We'll allow it. I will be doing a live on Saturday morning around 9:30. Could be a little sooner than 9:30. Depends on what kind of mood I'm in. You never know. It depends on how I'm feeling. You know what I mean? Oh, I know what else. Oh, that's so sweet when people do things like that, Christy. I wanted to drop the link for the Opal Bling race that Sandy's doing in here because I forgot my last live. And I just screwed it up. Hold on. There we go. Last I heard, there's still around 40 spots left for the Opal Bling race. A chance to win a fantastic opal that Sandy has. There is an information video. I do not have that link.
I don't have money for an opal.
But for anybody that is interested, you can see what the opal looks like at that link. And it's $35 for a chance to be in the running for the opal. And then as soon as she has 100 people signed up, then she's going to do some kind of horse race or something. And whoever wins, however she does it, you get an opal that's worth over $4,000. So set in gold in either a pendant or a ring or whatever you want. It is a delicious opal. It's an Ethiopian opal, which I'm more partial to Australian, but this is an absolutely gorgeous Ethiopian opal. And it's huge. So, and the proceeds go to help Sandy buy her house. Enjoy your dinner, Keelan, and you're welcome. So I wanted to put that in there. because I can't afford to buy a spot either. It's $35 a pop, and I can't afford it either. There are a lot of different people in auctions and different things giving away spots. They do like pick a number type of thing, and then they pay for your spot, which is awesome, absolutely awesome. So Julie's giving away some. Just Me Cappy gave away a spot. I know JJ, Big Barn Auctions have given away some of the entries. I mean, it's very sweet of them to do. And Sandy doesn't want to have to move again, so she'd rather just buy her house. And so this will help go towards her buying her house. So.
Well, if I was somewhere for however many years, I wouldn't want to move again either.
Yeah,
I've been where I'm at for 10 years, and if I had to move right now, it'd be a serious pain in the butt.
Yeah, I mean, she has so much equipment and so much, supplies, plus she's been there forever, and she's just like, I'm too old. I just have a yard sale, get rid of everything, and do whatever. And that would be a shame, because then she wouldn't be working, so.
Sandy is a really cool egg.
She is. I love Sandy. Sandy's
my first auction. She invited me. It's like out of the blue. Come do this auction with me tonight, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I even made $100.
And she's hella talented. So
yes, she is.
I mean, what I do is the same thing, but it's like on an itty bitty scale compared to Sandy. It's like I'm down here and she's like way up here. But she's been doing it for 40 years. So
and she was all apologetic about my artisan beadwork that's not going very well against what she has, and I'm like, well,
yeah.
Thank you for the help. It's exposure.
Bye, Wes. Good luck
I
hunting.
made some money.
Yeah, better than nothing, right?
Yes, better than a kick in the teeth. That
Happy
been getting
hunting, Wes.
exposure.
Yeah.
I don't make jewelry. My mother and my sister do.
Yeah, I make beaded jewelry. I make metalsmith. I do metalsmithing. I work, well, when I have polymer clay, I work with polymer clay. I don't have any right now because it all baked to death and made pre-colored bricks in the storage unit for 5 years. But when I have it, I use it. I just don't have it. I just want to be able to get all my supplies in that room and get working again. It's driving me crazy. So, soon.
I'd like to have a dedicated room for my supplies where I could work.
This is the first
But I
time.
have a one-bedroom apartment, and yeah.
This is the first time I've been able to do it. I had at the other house that I lived at with my son, the bedroom was big enough. I mean, hell, we each had our own bathrooms. It was like there was 2 master bedrooms. There was no public bathroom for anybody that came to visit, which we didn't care because nobody came to visit. But the rooms were pretty big, and I was able to set up like one corner as my craft area, and that was very nice. I liked that. But I only had it set up for a couple of months, and my health went. So, yeah. And I had just started setting up, putting my supplies away, and that's when the cat ran over my foot and caused an infection, which caused, I got staph and had to have surgery and blah, 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 bada bing, bada boom, I lost part of my leg. So now I have to try and get everything. And then I was supposed to use the living room. When Issa moved out, I was going to have the living room as my craft room. Then my son decided to move into the living room. Then he moved his friends into the other room, which I was going to use. So it's been delayed and delayed and delayed. And I'm like, everybody out of my room. It's my craft room now. So now it's my craft room. As soon as I can get all the rest of my stuff in there. But I've got about 30 seconds left before I'm going to end it. So thank you for everybody for coming. And thank you, Iris, for coming on the panel and chit-chatting with me. And I hope everybody has a good day.
Well, it's been fun.
Hope everybody stays out of too much trouble. Don't get into too much trouble.
See you next time.
Bye, everybody.